Right. Welcome to episode 4 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi podcast. This is Xiao Dai, and we have again
Gaza.
Gaza. Yeah, Gaza. It feels like this week is less hectic, isn't it?
Well, there hasn't been many Chinese games. I mean, last
No.
week there was the entire Chinese tournament, which was about 30 or so games in 1 week.
Yeah.
So
That was nuts. Yeah.
yeah, so it looks like the Chinese players are taking a bit of a break, and it's mainly been um, a few Korean and Japanese games.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that the Chinese have taken a break. What apparently the plan was that after the Lanka Cup, the domestic one, they were gonna hold the international version qualifier, like soon
After the
after.
international
Yeah,
Shu Lanka
yeah,
Cup.
the international Sri Lanka Cup. They were gonna hold that qualifier for that, like soon after. So the reporter, he mentioned on his podcast, one of the comments he says, "Oh, I was planning on staying in Chuzhou to cover the qualifiers for the international tournaments as well, but now that the COVID situation in China is it's pretty bad, I guess. So they're probably not gonna hold that now." And also the Asian Games have been delayed, so they went through rounds and rounds of action in
Wait,
China.
what? The Asian Games have been delayed?
Yes, the Asian Games is I think it's today. It's just been announced. Just
Oh
like the
wow!
Olympics, just like the Olympics. Olympic was delayed for a year. I don't know how
Yeah,
long
yeah, yeah.
this Asian Games gonna be delayed for, but China and Korea and I think Japan have decided their teams, and maybe even Taiwan. So yeah, it's a
Well,
bit of a shock.
Korea were going to finish their team selection this week.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think they did finish their team selection this week. But yeah, I think the games were scheduled to be held in September.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Something around
Yeah.
that.
So, and like, there's been this intensive and strenuous qualifiers.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, of course, one of the excuses used by the Chinese Weiqi Association for not accepting the Shin Jinseo versus Kerje Jibango was because the schedule was too tight due to the Asian Games. Where's the excuse now?
Well, well, I think the COVID situation might replace their
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah, I know.
But
Just
it just feels weird because they've selected the teams, and now who knows,
yeah,
the games could be a year away, and
yeah.
like form, the
The
the most appropriate players for the teams might be completely different by that
yeah
time.
the form player might have completely, you know, the worst form of their career.
Yeah, I mean, like you could have someone like Wang Hao
Yeah.
just completely just keep growing as he is and become like top 5 in China
Mm.
or something like that
Yeah.
in a year. I mean, maybe not, but
Yeah.
like he could become a star really quickly, and
Yeah.
then all these tournaments are finally happening that he won't get to play in because he wasn't good enough
Yeah.
a
Uh,
year before the tournament was held.
Yeah, and Tojiashi, he made the Asian Games team, but I believe he might be above 30, if not just very close. So in 1 year's time, God knows where he will be in terms of the ratings and everything.
Well,
So
he can't retire.
no, it's definitely happening. Well, by the way, don't ignore the rest of the article. I thought this is quite interesting because they apparently the slogan for the Asian Games in Hangzhou this time is in the English one anyway is heart to heart at future. God knows what that means.
How appropriate.
It was, I really don't know, but yeah, so that's not happening. But let's start with some of the
Let's
happenings
let's
of.
look at things that are happening.
Yeah, it's the things that are happening. Well, it was Yu Jun's birthday about just 1 week ago, and I think can you tell us a little bit about Yu Jun's achievements?
Oh well, Yuli Jun, first and foremost, is a Taiwanese player.
Yeah,
Um, she's quite a strong player. She won Taiwan Women's Strongest tournament. I think in 2018 and 2020, she won that twice.
Yeah.
She won the Taiwan Women's Mingren about 5 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And she actually competed in the Samsung Cup in 2019.
Yeah.
Taiwan only get one slot
Yeah.
for the Samsung Cup, and it's an open tournament, and she was selected.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
In terms of women's majors, she competed in the Wu Qingwan Goseigen Cup.
Yeah.
3 years ago, and she competed in the Senko Cup last year.
Yeah.
I would say that last year she was probably the number one women's player in Taiwan.
Yep.
Now I would say that's Lu Yuhua.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, she's I don't know how old is she? How old did she turn?
That's a good question. Actually, I do have to look it up. So
she is quite young.
yes, she is quite young. So I think by putting that putting her achievements out in the open, that proves that we didn't put this post on Pro Weiqi just because she's got good looks.
Okay. I think she was born in 1999,
Yeah,
so she would
okay.
be 23.
Okay, so very very young then. So she does have a segment in the on YouTube where she actually goes through the week's Weiqi news, but it's in Mandarin. So I sometimes watch that and just to see, but I don't know if that segment has continued. But anyway, that's
Right.
that's quite interesting. All right.
But if you think about it, when she won the Taiwan Women's Mingren,
Yeah.
she was actually 17 years old when she won that.
Right. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's apparently a record for the youngest to win that
Right.
tournament.
Right.
And she actually also won a pair go tournament.
Right.
As well. In 2019, it was an international tournament, and she was paired with Orise,
Oh,
who
wow.
who actually is a Japanese player, but he's Taiwanese.
Yeah.
So yeah, they represented Taiwan, and they won a pair go tournament.
Oh, wow, nice. Orise, of course, was a Kisei, previous Kisei.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple time Kisei.
Yeah. And won in 2 international tournaments. Very strong player.
He did.
Very strong player.
Yeah.
So this is still from the last week. These are some pictures from last week's Zhou Cup. Of course, the winner, Li Xuanhao here, and runner-up, Fan Tingyu, very nice. And of course, the four red phones and one, I don't know, normal phone for the
Yeah,
chairman.
he must have given a speech about how good the Zhou Cup is.
Yeah. And the books that he published himself, still in the shelf, very good. That's 500,000 renminbi.
Yeah, this is a big win for Li
Xuanhao.
Xuanhao.
Yeah. Oh, apparently Li Xuanhao, he was ranked in the top 3 in China at once when he first when he was younger, but he's never won a
Yeah, no, he's never won a
major
major
in China.
before.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so more boring stuff in the GS Caltex Cup. It's still in the round of 24.
The GS Caltex Cup is in its early stages. It's a final.
Yeah.
It's a knockout tournament.
Yeah.
With 24 players, and we're still in the first round.
Yeah. So the first round
But these two players are not boring
in
terms of achievements.
No. So what? Obviously,
We've got
Li
Hang
Chang.
Take,
Yeah.
who's a veteran. He's won a few titles. I don't recall which ones.
Right.
And
Li Chang.
but I mean, like the main player here is of course the legend himself, Lee Chang-ho.
Yeah. Obviously.
17 time world champion.
Yeah. Yeah. The most of anyone.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, lost in the first round, so he's not making the round of 16. So
No.
a bit of
No.
unfortunate. I didn't. Next up, we have another Taiwanese birthday, Shu Hao Hong. Of course, the current Taiwan 5-crown king. He's got 5 titles out of 9, so that's pretty impressive.
He's also very young.
Yes. He might be born in 1909. the same year?
It was actually. Wait.
Shu Hao Hong. Let's check.
No, I think he's even younger than that.
Right.
He was born in 2001.
2001. Right. Okay, so he's even
So
younger than.
He turned 21.
Yeah.
He's younger than Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, I've heard that. Someone was saying that how they kind of just listed the strongest player born in each year, and they said Shu Hao Hong was the strongest player in the world born in the year of 2001.
I think there's a good share. He's got a good claim to that, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So I might make a chart at some point, just figuring out who's the strongest player born within like a 12-month window, and just plot it out and see who takes the cake for each of the 12-month windows. But that's Shu for you. A little bit of a sad news. The Go Club. Apparently, this is the Go Club where Ichiriki first studied gold. Right. I think this is a picture of it. And apparently it's closing down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. So yeah, and apparently
Did they explain why it's closing down?
I think it's due to COVID. Yeah, maybe just not enough customers or not enough students or whatever it may be. But
that's a shame because Ichiriki just won, the biggest title in Japan.
Yeah, Kisei. And
Kisei.
And his teacher who went to his inauguration, Kisei inauguration. I think we showed pictures of that maybe a couple of weeks ago. And his teacher actually had really high hopes for Ichiriki. That might be his teacher there. A gentleman, Mr. Song, I believe. And he said that he was expecting Ichiriki to win an international title before the age of 23. That didn't exactly happen, but.
Well, I mean, depending on when he said that. If he said that when Ichiriki was like 10 years old, that's not a bad. That's pretty decent foreshadowing. I mean, he got to the semi-final.
He got a semi-final of maybe, I can't remember, it was one or two competitions. Yeah. Now, this is a bit of a sad news. I don't know which one is more sad. The fact that the pictures don't show what the title says, or the fact that it actually happened. But apparently the 47th Kisei, so Kisei obviously is the most prestigious title in Japan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look at on the Japanese website, they actually list the prize money for the winner. So let's see if Google Translate does a good job here. So, okay, winning prize, 43 million yen. Okay, so that's in the latest one, which is the 47th Kisei. But if you just look 1 year back, bloody hell, it's 45 million. So it was a 2 million richer tournament for the winner just 1 year ago. So the prize money has been dropping. That's not good, is it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that what is it? 45 million yen.
Yeah, 45 million yen to 43.
That's a huge prize.
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a shame it's dropping, but it was such a huge prize
to begin with, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, in Korea, you don't see there aren't any tournaments that have over what would be 10 million yen.
Yeah. So okay, by no means is a small prize, but the fact it's kind of dropping. But I guess maybe in Japan they have an issue with deflation. I don't know, maybe. So I like to see prize money go up for the pros, but yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to see prize money go up for the Korean Korean tournaments.
Yeah, not the domestic one. The international ones are decent.
I wouldn't mind seeing the prize money go up for the internationals, because then maybe the Nihon Kiin would take them more seriously.
Yeah. Well, I believe if I'm not wrong, most of the internationals except Chunnan Cup would be probably around the 30 million yen mark somewhere around there. So it's quite decent.
Somewhere around there.
So it's equivalent to maybe like a Meijin or something, but definitely not.
Wait, what's this? What's this?
Okay, this
Look at this.
it's just this is
Shin Min-jun dancing.
yeah, I think it's Shin Min-jun dancing video. So I think he was making a some kind of introductory video. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's on
That's hilarious.
K Baduk or something. So yeah, it's like Shin Min-jun was just doing a dance and doing an interview.
Oh, it's on K Baduk.
I'm not sure. I've seen another video that's kind of similar to this for another player. So yeah, it's just yeah. And I captured this from Chinese Weibo, but I can't find the original video. But original should be on YouTube somewhere. And if someone can find it, please
We'll have to
let us
find
know.
it.
Yeah, it's
This doesn't have any sound.
no, it doesn't have any sound. So
we have to find it. We need to.
we need to see Shin Min-jun dancing. Yeah. So
yeah, and with that screen with like 15 Shin Min-juns all at the same time.
Yeah, no,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I love it. Love this one. 21st Taiwan Tianyuan Wang Yuanjun versus Shu Hao Hong. Game 1.
Started this week.
Yeah, it started this week, and we'll look at the results. But
so what's the Tianyuan?
Tianyuan is like one of the 9 professional competitions in Taiwan. I believe it's also like a title it's a title holder challenger system as well.
Right. I think you're right. And so then, who is the title holder and who is the challenger?
Now,
and how many rounds are there?
I might be getting this wrong, but I can't actually remember who the title holder is. It could be Wang.
I'll check now.
Yeah, it should be somewhere around.
Wang Wanjun.
Oh yes, he's a title holder. So Wang Yuanjun holds 3 of 9 titles in Taiwan, and Shu Hao Hong holds the other holds 5, and Lin Junyan holds 1. So yeah, Wang Yuanjun would be trying to hold on to the title, and I believe it's the best of 7. Tianyuan, of course, is the same as
7. Nice.
Yeah, I believe it's the equivalent of Tengen in Japanese. And but just looking at the ratings, Shu Hao Hong has much higher ratings than Wang. So
but Wang just recently beat Shu Hao Hong to qualify for the LG Cup.
Exactly. That was quite an upset, because Taiwan only has 1 spot for the LG Cup, and the final for the qualification tournament for Taiwan came down to Wang and Shu, and Wang beat Shu to make the LG Cup. So that was quite something.
Right.
Yeah.
So this should be an exciting game.
Yeah. So
an exciting match. Sorry.
Yeah. That should be it. Now on to Korea, the 9th Daeju Cup, which I believe was originally only a tournament for men, but they've recently let women participate. But it's age restricted.
The Daeju Cup. So that is
Yeah.
It is a restricted tournament. It is a seniors tournament.
Yeah.
It's restricted to men of over 50 years old and women over 30 years old.
Yeah. And this is the first time. The reason why it's a bit newsworthy was because this is the first time 2 women will be competing in the final.
Right.
Yes.
There have been women in the final of the Daeju Cup before.
Yes.
But not.
Yeah.
Both finalists.
No. So it'll be between Lee Min-jin and Kim Hyun-min. So so that would be quite interesting.
So I think there has been a woman win it before. Cho Hee-yeon.
Yeah.
She won it 2 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, this. I don't know how far she got in this tournament, but it's a one game final.
Yeah.
So whoever wins it wins the title, and so noteworthy is that Kim Hyun-min is already 9 dan. Lee Min-jin is 8 dan.
Yeah.
And I think in Korea, if you win a restricted tournament, you get a 1 dan increase in your rank.
Right.
Up to 9 dan.
Yeah.
So if Lee Min-jin wins, I think she'll be promoted to 9 dan, which would make her the 8th woman ever
9 dan
to
ever.
get 9 dan.
Yeah, and there still hasn't been any 9 dan from women 9 dan from Japan in Taiwan. Only China and Korea.
Yes, but it should be clarified that each country has its own promotion criteria.
Yeah.
And Korea is probably the easiest to
Right.
get 9 dan.
Even versus Japan.
Oh, definitely for women. In
Okay.
Korea, it's easier because I believe in Japan, any restricted tournament doesn't impact your promotion.
Right.
I think increase in Dan in Japan, you need to get a certain number of wins, but they all have to be in open events.
Right.
I think there are other ways, like if you lead the prize money at the end of the year, and things like that. And I think sometimes I don't think that's restricted to open events. I'm not sure, but
Right.
but yeah, usually unless you're actually winning major titles in Japan, the only way to get promoted really is to win games. But you can only games that are won in open tournaments count. So that's So for the women, like that's why you have someone like Ji Min who's won like 25, 30 women's titles. In Korea, that would have gotten her to 9 dan instantly.
Right.
But in Japan, she's only 7 dan. So
Right. Interesting, that one.
yes.
I do want to go through some interesting pictures from the Daeju Cup. So this is Mr. Choi. I don't know how to translate these two Chinese characters into English, but he's it's Tai Kang Yun or something. I'm guessing. I really don't know. But he's 85. He's Korea's oldest pro, and he's still playing. He participated in this tournament, but he lost to a 54-year-old Mr. Kim Seong-in or something. I really don't know how to pronounce their name, so they kind of remain untranslated except for the first, except for the family name. And this is Mr. 80-year-old Park Chun-ye versus 74-year-old Cho In-suk in the prelim. I believe Choi In-suk, this lady here, she might be one of the first, if not the first, Korean female pros. So that's
nice.
That's quite something. 74-year-old. And of course, there's still a 95-year-old.
And that's a 95-year-old.
In Japan, still playing.
Oh, in Japan, yes.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
This is the legend Seo Bong-soo.
Seo Bong-soo, legend.
He was actually the defending Daeju Cup champion. He won it last year.
Right, yeah. So looking very dashing there.
So he must have lost to Kim Hyo-min.
Yeah. Remember the TV show Monkey Magic?
Yep.
So this guy's nickname, I can't remember his name now, or I don't know how to say his name in English, but this guy's nickname was Monkey.
Isn't this guy Seo Young-uk or something?
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but I think this guy's actually pretty well known.
yeah. So he's won it before, I believe.
This guy could be That could be Seo Young-wook.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe his nickname is Monkey. Monkey.
Why? Why is he nicknamed Monkey?
Because his playing style is very flexible. Like how Monkey. Well, Monkey has his magic stuff. He jumps around in his cloud device kind of thing. So apparently, when he gets into a fight, he's very good at getting out of it and avoiding it using clever moves. I think that's where he got his name from. Okay, so
and who is he playing?
I have no idea. I can't recognize.
That's Lee Min-jin.
Oh, that's Lee Min-jin. Oh, must be the mask and the fact she's sideways. Damn.
That's definitely Lee Min-jin.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, that is. I just checked. That is Seo Young-wook.
Yeah.
He's a two-time Daeju Cup champion.
Yes. I believe a long time ago I remember reading a report about him beating Cho Han-hyun in the final.
Yes, he beat him in the final in 2011.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, who's this guy? but
I think he's won. I think he's actually won over 1,000 games in his professional career.
Yeah. So that's something. Yep. So that's your Daeju Cup. I don't know what happened in the final. I'm not sure if it's even taken place yet.
Finals next week.
Oh yes, so we'll see. The first time. Two women players.
I'm excited.
Yeah, excited. You may recognize the person here as Koji.
Koji!
Yeah, so Koji has often been criticized in some circles anyway for appearing in too many Chinese variety TV shows. And
so how does he respond?
He well, I don't know.
Appearing in another reality show.
Yeah. So he's gonna appear in another one. So
Can't wait.
Like, okay, I might be too old, but I don't recognize this guy, but I think he might be a celebrity in China. He might be a singer or something. This guy definitely a famous actor in China, so got top billing. This lady here is a famous a singer in China. This person here is also a famous singer in China. So Kerje is the only person in this lineup not in the entertainment industry, but he might as well be. So that's,
what's the show about? What's it about?
I have no idea, but apparently it's going to be an outdoors show, and this says it's going to be about the Great War in China. So it might just be one of those nationalistic shows, about how great China is and how great the Great War is, how magnificent it is.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a clip of this Kerji appearing in this show.
Let's hope so. Let's hope someone can in China can capture it and send it to us.
Yeah. Well, Korean League.
This is actually
postseason.
This is actually big news. This is the Baduk League.
Yeah.
So a quick recap.
Yeah.
Celltrion finished 6th in the regular season.
Yeah.
They had to beat 5th place, 4th place, and 3rd place.
Yeah.
To get to this spot, which is basically
the final,
the semi-final.
Semi-final. Yep.
Against Team POSCO.
POSCO, yes.
POSCO Chemicals.
Yep.
And POSCO Chemicals finished 2nd, so they automatically earned a semi-final berth.
Yep.
And they were also, heavily favoured. They would have been heavily favoured to beat Team Celltrion, based on the depth of their team.
Yeah.
And it's a best of 3. The semi-finals are best of 3. So each match is 5 games.
Yep.
You need to win 3 games to win the match, and you need to win 2 matches.
Yep.
So the first match was on Saturday.
Yep.
And the matchup was good for Team Celltrion because Shin Jinseo managed to be paired up against Team POSCO's strongest player, Byun Sang-gil.
Yep.
And that's the only matchup where Byun Sang-gil is not heavily favoured.
Yep.
So that was a good matchup for Team Celltrion. They once again brought out their reserve, Lee Won-do. And he got paired up against Team POSCO's number 2, Choi Chol-han.
Would you say he's number 2?
He's officially the number 2 on the team. He's not the second best player on the team, but he is the number 2.
Well, I don't really know if those number 2s make any sense. You mean number 2 as in he got...
As in he was the second selected when they did the draft.
Okay, yeah. And so what happened to Lee Chung-seok? I'm just curious because Lee Chung-seok, you would consider him a higher ranked player than Choi nowadays?
A year ago, Choi was higher ranked.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
Choi was, I think, maybe 12th.
Right.
At the time of the draft, and Lee Chung-seok was, I think, just a little bit below that.
Right. Okay.
Of course, Lee Chung-seok since then has gone up as high as 8th.
Right.
Yeah, but I would definitely consider Lee Chang-suk to be the second best player on the team.
Sure. Yeah.
But in any case, Lee Won-do paired up against Choi Cho-han, which again is not that bad of a matchup for Celltrion.
Yeah.
Obviously, Choi Cho-han is heavily favoured, but
Yeah.
you want to basically either pair up the strong players with your even stronger player, or
Yeah.
pair them up with your weakest players.
Yeah.
So Lee Won-do did lose though,
Yeah.
and Shin Jinseo, of course, won. He continues his unbeaten streak,
Yeah.
and the board 3 was Kang Seung-min versus Park Seung-hwa,
Yeah.
which again is a favourable matchup. Kang Seung-min is the number 3 for Celltrion, and Park Seung-hwa is the number 5
Yeah.
for POSCO.
Yeah.
So Kang Seung-min was favoured, and he did win.
Yeah.
So that made it 2-1 against Celltrion.
Yeah.
And again, they play the first 3 boards at the same time, and then they only start board 4 if it's 2-1.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was 2-1, so they brought out board 4, and it was Wang Sunjin
Yep.
versus Lee Chang-suk.
Yep.
And once again, that was a good matchup for Celltrion because Wang Sunjin is the number 2 for Celltrion. Lee Chang-suk is, well, essentially POSCO's second best player, but Wang Sunjin
Yeah. One.
is probably still the favourite
Yeah.
for that. And he did, in fact, prevail
Yeah.
over Lee Chang-suk. So all the games went basically according to rating,
Yeah.
but the matchups were very nice for Celltrion.
Yeah.
Because you would expect Yoon Sang-gil and Lee Chang-suk to probably win their games
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And in this case, they basically got the exact matchup so that they both lost.
Yeah. That was a bit.
So, yeah, very good, very lucky matchup for Celltrion. But you know, when you've got strong players, sometimes you'll get more. You'll get lucky more often in your matchups.
Yeah. So after this win, Shin Jinseo remains undefeated in the Korean League in regular season and postseason.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So then that was match 1 to Team Celltrion.
Yep.
So
then,
they only need to win one more match, and the second match was the next day on the Sunday.
Yep.
And so in this case, in this time around, the first 3 boards, Lee Won-do was paired up against Lee Chang-suk. So Team Celltrion continue to bring out Lee Won-do. They haven't played Guom Ji-woo for many weeks now, not at all in the postseason, which I think sort of gives a message as to, you know, how confident they are in his capabilities at the moment.
No.
But yeah, Lee Chang-suk heavily favoured there, but it was still a decent matchup for Celltrion because Lee Chang-suk probably wanted to be playing against someone like Kang Seung-min or Cho Han-seung.
Right.
Someone who's only slightly weaker.
Yeah.
Who's only slightly weaker, but still where he would be a heavy favourite.
Yeah.
But in any case, Lee Chang-suk did win that. Kang Seung-min was paired up against Park Seung-hwa again.
Yep.
Very lucky.
Yep. Beat him again.
Kang Seung-min won that again.
Yep.
And then Shin Jinseo was paired up against Pacquiaon Ho, who is officially he's the number 4 for POSCO.
Yeah.
But he did just qualify for the LG Cup, so you know he's in very good form.
Is he not also in the latest Korean ranking number 10?
I think he's actually.
Number 9.
A bit of a spoiler alert, but I think he's actually just entered the top 10 now.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah. So one of the strongest.
That's pretty crazy. He could actually be the second highest ranked on Team POSCO now.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it this way, Byeon is number 3 in Korea. Lee Chang-suk was in the top 10, and Pacquiaon Ho, was ranking in the top 10. So this team is pretty stacked. And of course, you got your Choi Cho-han as well.
Yeah, it's a very deep team.
Yeah.
So Celltrion needed favourable matchups, and they got it with Kang Seung-min again getting Park Seung-hwa.
Yeah.
And Shin Jinseo versus Pacquiaon Ho, I wouldn't call that a favourable matchup for Celltrion. That's probably more favourable for POSCO.
Yeah.
But in any case, Pacquiaon Ho, he was in great form. Not good enough to defeat Shin Jinseo though.
No, so
I followed the game and it wasn't a close game.
no, okay,
No offense to Pacquiaon Ho, but
yeah,
Shin Jinseo just performed
no,
at his ability, and
yeah,
that makes it 24 wins now in this season
yeah,
for Shin Jinseo. And he won his last two games in the previous season, so that's 26 consecutive
yep,
Baduk League wins,
yep,
which
and
apparently is a record.
well, yes, and
So that was the first three boards, and that made it once again 2-1 to Team Celltrion. So now Team Posco needed to win on boards 4 and 5.
yep,
And they got a very good board 4 because it was Wang Sungjin versus Byun Sang-gil.
yep,
So very favourable for Posco because Byun Sang-gil is probably paired up against the strongest Celltrion player that he'd be favoured against.
yep,
And so Byun Sang-gil did win that to keep their hopes alive, and so it all rested on Choi Chol-han up against Cho Han-sung.
yeah,
Choi Chol-han, of course, former In-Cup champion. I think he's won 1,200 games. He's easily won 1,200. He may have won 1,300 games by now.
yep,
In his professional career. Versus Cho Han-sung, a veteran player.
yep,
He's also won over 1,000 games, and he just recently qualified for the LG Cup. His form's been quite inconsistent this Baduk League, but he was doing well in other tournaments, around this time. So he had a chance. I would have favoured Choi Chol-han.
yep,
And it was a good game. It was a close game, I think, but Cho Han-sung did prevail in the end.
yay,
And so that made it 3-2 to Celltrion, and so they won both matches. They won
yep,
the two matches, which means they defeat Team Posco.
yes,
So insanely, from 6th place in the league,
yeah,
they're through to the final.
yeah. So and they had to beat every single team along the way.
They had to beat every
Fifth,
single team.
fourth,
and
third, second,
yeah,
and now they're in the final.
and that's crazy. And Shin Jinseo
Yeah.
certainly helped by getting them a win every single match they played.
Well, oh, definitely.
I mean, yeah,
That's
it's crazy. So now the other team came first. Team Hapcheon.
Yep.
They came first in the regular season, so they were automatically seeded into the final.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to do any. They haven't played in the postseason yet.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a best of 5 final. So you got to win 3 matches.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. Again, I mean, I don't know. I think I would have thought that Team Posco would have been the hardest matchup for Celltrion,
Yep.
but they actually ended up being
Just straight wins.
the most convincing win for Celltrion. They won.
Yeah.
They won both matches.
Yeah.
But Hapcheon, Hapcheon obviously, goes without saying that they're a formidable opponent. They've got Park Jung-hwan, of course.
Yep.
Park Young-hoon.
Yep.
Na Huyen.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I can't say I recognize too much of the rest though. So.
Yeah, I mean Kim Jin-hui, I think he got close. He's gotten pretty deep in a few individual tournaments.
Yeah.
I think he got close to LG Cup qualifying. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So
And, yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't say their depth is super. Yeah, I wouldn't say their depth is great. I do think that Celltrion are a legitimate chance here of going all the way from 6th to champions.
Yeah, I mean, just if you look at this, I mean, Team Hapcheon, you look at their results in the regular season. I mean, they actually, of course, Shin Jinseo is crazy, 24 wins so far, but I mean, their top 2 player are just, maybe like 70-60%. It's not, but they just have a really even top 5. Like even
To be
all
fair
the
though,
way.
I
Yeah,
think 4 wins is actually the second lowest number of wins. I
right.
don't think anyone. I think 12-4 is like the second best record
Yeah, okay. So that's pretty good.
in the regular season.
Yeah. So that's
So the thing is that a lot of the time Park Chun-wan and Park Young-hoon won,
yeah,
and then they only needed one win from one of the other players.
yeah.
So
So that's how they got to top, I guess.
I think they got to the regular season just through consistency. You know, they probably had a lot of 3-2 wins.
Yeah.
Um, you know, which doesn't mean much when you're only going to play against one team in the final.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Celltrion, I would actually consider them to be favourites
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They're different more.
especially if Shin Jinseo gets paired up against Park Junhwan or Park Young-hoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Park Chut, but yeah, but you kind of never know. Maybe Park Jun Hwan will, maybe Shin Jin Seo
Of
will get
course,
his
yeah,
first
of course.
loss.
Park Jun, we shouldn't write off the fact that Shin Jinseo could actually lose a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's well.
Um,
Let's
that,
see.
yeah,
Let's yeah. Let's see what happens there. So that's
yeah,
your Korean League postseason. I believe the
yeah.
final
So
game
yeah,
one
so it's the game one of the final starts tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah,
So more Kerj news. Now I actually did watch one of his streams this week.
yeah,
And he started off the stream by playing like a computer game. One of the games in the Legend of League of Legends universe kind of thing. And I do recall him saying something like he doesn't feel sad losing in the first round of the ninth Chuzhou Lanka Cup. Of course, that's what he did. He lost to Liao Yunhe. And because he said he misses home because he's been playing in Chuzhou for so long, so he just wants to go home, maybe a bit homesick. Yeah. So that was him, and I think I didn't report on this, but Kerje during the stream he also started waxing lyricals on a particular lady. So this particular lady is very very famous in China right now. She's so famous, you wouldn't know what's happening. But this lady, she was born and raised in America, but maybe one of the parents was Chinese, and this lady decided to represent China in the international Olympics, Winter Olympics, and won a gold medal. And now she's really famous. Xi Jinping, the president, the Chinese president.
yeah.
He actually, during one of the meetings, he actually mentioned this lady about
Ah,
what food she likes to eat. So this is the lady that we're talking about. She's like extremely famous in China right now. So Kerja even said things like, "Oh, when I'm next to her, I just feel so like self-conscious, and maybe a bit. It impacts my self-esteem because she's so perfect, blah, 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 and stuff like that."
have they met?
I don't think so, but I really don't think so. But yeah, but he talked about her, and Kerje during the meeting, during the stream, he started talking about business. He might have gone to business school at university or something. He started analyzing the business case of this lady, why she's makes so much buzz, why she's got so much commercial value, and Kerje was like, oh yeah, they said this lady made 200 million renminbi from all her sponsorship deals.
That's a lot of money.
And then Kerje says that's totally incorrect. It couldn't be that little. And then he did some calculations, back of the envelope, and he worked out that maybe every sponsorship deal is 30 million, and then he gets 20-30. It works out to be should be 600 million, not 200 million. Okay, whatever. But he spent a lot of the stream talking about his lady. And then Kerje finished off by playing a game versus Meng Tailing, and in which Kerje won.
Of League of Legends.
No, in a Go. He played it on Fox.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I
he
want to hear.
won.
Koji playing Go.
Yeah, that's what we need to see. But
And
anyway,
what happened? He played Meng Tai Ling?
yeah, he played Meng Tai Ling. He won.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know. Someone was saying how Kyrgyz got a really bad record on Fox in the month of April or something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I
They
don't know.
said since March, he's on Fox, his record's been quite bad.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out, but it could be true. But from what I saw, he's
Yeah,
still
I
won.
haven't seen it
He's still
either.
won. He's still won his game.
Maybe we need to investigate that.
Yeah, we need to investigate it at some point.
Because it's a little bit concerning. Kerje, is number one in China.
Yeah. Well.
Eight world titles.
Yeah. Well, not. Oh, okay. I think he's not gonna get any more.
Whoa! Let's not jump. Let's not. Let's not go overboard here.
Yeah. No. Okay.
This is called J.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Let's see where it takes us.
Okay.
Shifting gear to Japan now. Nakamura Sumire. She played in the Honimbo prelim game versus Kono Rin here, former Tengen.
Kono Rin.
Yeah.
That's a very strong opponent. That could be one of her strongest opponents she's played in her career.
Right.
In an official game at least.
Yeah.
Like, I know she's played a Yama.
Yes.
But I don't think it was in an official tournament.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, she lost basically.
I think she lost by 6.5 points.
Right, that's quite a lot. But Conor Rin is probably still one of the strongest players.
Oh
in,
yeah,
in Japan.
He's definitely very, very,
so
very strong. He's he still appears in a couple of majors every now and then.
Yeah.
And of course, he challenged for the Kisei last year.
Right. And the year before that as well.
The year before, I don't think he had a good 2021 though.
Right. I haven't checked. Yeah.
But yeah, that was going to be a tough mission for Nakamura.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple of years they'll meet up again and things might be different.
Yeah, you never know. Let's see what happens. Yeah, but yeah, that's the news. She lost by 6.5. That's how the board ended up looking like at the end. 6.5 points.
But considering she was playing Kono Rin, she must have been fairly deep into the Honimbo prelim. Of course, in the prelims, once you lose a game, you're out, and you have to wait until next year.
Yeah.
But Kono Rin couldn't be. Usually, if you get really far in the prelims and then you lose, you don't have to start from the very beginning.
Right.
You usually re-enter somewhere like halfway. And if for instance you fall out of the Honimbo League, you typically only have to win 2 or 3 games in the prelims to get back into it.
Right.
So I couldn't imagine that Kono Rin would be that early would be very early in the prelims. He'd probably be in one of the later prelims. So Nakamura must have gotten fairly far into the Honimbo prelims just to be facing Kono Rin.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at the information. So basically, according to Nihon King's website, so this is prelim A. So in prelim A,
Oh, they're in she was in prelim A.
Yeah, prelim A. So
that's good.
Yeah, so I believe there's prelim, there's B and C, which is quite
there's B and C, and then there's prelim A, and then there's the final prelim.
And that's where they met. I know the Google Translate isn't perfect, but that's where
they met in prelim A.
In the first round of prelim A, and that's and Conor
so
went on there.
I think prelim A there's two rounds.
Yeah.
And then the final prelim there's 3 rounds.
Right. Yeah.
So she was 5 games away from qualifying for the Honimbo.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad for 13-year-old. So she's done quite well.
Yeah.
Korea's strongest league. This is getting to the business end of the league, and it's getting really interesting, really, if you ask me.
So, what game is this?
This is the game between Park Jun-hwan and Shin Min-jun.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a huge game because
this is a huge game. Yeah.
both of them were on one loss,
Yeah.
and basically whoever lost this game was probably eliminated
From winning the
contention.
title. Yeah.
Yeah, from winning the title.
Yeah. I mean,
And so,
winning the
so who
challenger.
won?
Yeah. So Shin Min-jun beat Park Jun-hwan.
Shin Min-jun won.
Yeah, Shin Min-jun won this one.
Okay.
Even though Park Jun-hwan, of course, is kind of favored because Park Jun-hwan is still number 2. Shin Min-jun might
Number
be
2 in Korea. Yes.
Yeah, number 2 in Korea. Shin Min-jun is number 5 or 6. But still, their ratings are maybe like 100, almost 200 points apart. So take these ratings with a grain of salt because Shin Min-jun does occasionally do some giant killing feats on his own. But yeah, so after this loss, Park Jun-hwan's on 2.
Yeah, Shin Min-jun, I would say he's the most inconsistent player in Korea.
Right.
Like I want to give a quick example.
Right.
So in last year, of course, in February, he won the LG Cup.
Yeah.
That's a world major. Like that's a world major that everyone wants to win.
Yeah.
And he won in the final. He beat Ko Jae, who not only is insanely strong.
Yeah.
Of course, that goes without saying, but particularly in world finals, he's almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
And Shin Min-jun won that, so, like just incredible. The week before he won the LG Cup, he played in a Myeongin qualifier. So Myeongin is a Korean major that's just been restarted. He played in a prelim for that and lost. So he didn't even qualify for the main tournament of the Myeongin.
Yeah.
So, and then 1 week later, he beats Ko Jae.
Yeah.
And then 1 week after he beats Ko Jae, he played in a prelim for the Yongseong,
Yeah.
which is another Korean major, and he lost that. So he failed to qualify for the Yongseong. He failed to qualify for 2 Korean majors 1 week on either side of winning the LG Cup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It must be frustrating to be a Shin Min-jun fan because he's clearly got the ability to beat anyone when he's on.
Yeah.
But he can also lose to some real random players.
Yeah, so it's definition of inconsistency.
Yeah, I do think that he may have a slight preference for longer time controls. Based on he did well in the LG Cup is 3 hours main time, and he did well in that. And this is one of the longest Korean tournaments in terms of main time. This is 2 hours main time.
Yeah.
I do think that he takes a little bit longer. He reads very deeply, but he sometimes takes a bit of time.
Yeah.
To do the reading, so I think that's my guess. But yeah, he's clearly done well in this tournament.
Right.
And you'd have to say now, after this game, he's on 6 wins. Byun Sang-gil is also on 6 wins, but Shin Min-jun has the tiebreaker over Byun Sang-gil because he beat Byun Sang-gil.
Right. So Shin
So,
Min-jun's already beaten Wang.
Yeah, so Shin Min-jun would have to be the favorite now.
Yeah. So Shin Min-jun has after this game has a 52% chance of becoming the challenger, but of course Byung also have 1 game in hand. So if Shin Min-jun loses and Byung wins, right, Byung can overtake Shin Min-jun.
Yeah, they both have 1 game left. Yes.
Yeah, 1 game left. Park Jun-hwan with 1 game left, at best will be 6 wins.
But Park Jun-hwan's 1 final game is against Byun.
Yeah.
So if he wins, he'll be on 6, and he'll keep Byun Sang-gil at 6 as well.
Yeah. So then by the head-to-head, Shin Min-jun would be ahead of Park. Park would be ahead of Byung, basically. So that's that was quite big. The Shin beat Park
Yeah.
Junhwan. So but really, realistically, the title is now between Shin and Bjorn. Actually, we shouldn't say title because
Yeah, so
after they win the league,
that's right.
they have
Whoever
to
wins
play
this league actually just becomes the challenger against the current title holder, which is Shin Jinseo.
and they have to play a best of 5.
Best of 5, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So let's see what happens. There's another update
Yeah,
on
there's only
this.
4 more games left. So.
Yeah. I think more YK Construction Cup. I would say two
Yeah, so
fairly
I don't think any games in the YK Construction Cup were played last week.
right.
So as a reminder, this is a Korean tournament.
Yeah.
It's a very fast tournament. There's no main time, and well, I wouldn't say it's fast. It's a very unique
Yeah.
timing system. There's no main time, but there's 10 1-minute Byoyomis.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can take you can't take a long time each move, but you can take up to a minute without penalty.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-player league, and the top 2 will play off.
Yeah.
So it looks like they took a break, probably because of the LG Cup qualifiers.
Yep.
But they played 2 games was this on Monday?
Second.
Yep. So Monday, probably the most notable one was Won Song Jin versus Kim Young Hoon,
Yep.
and I think Kim Young Hoon won that one.
Yeah. Kim won. Yep.
Yep. So that puts him at 3 wins. Won Song Jin is languishing behind at 1 win.
Okay, 1 win. Yep.
And he's going to struggle to make the top 2 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a. I don't think this is I'm pretty sure this is not considered a major.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting. It is very interesting to watch the games though, just because of the time controls.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
But of course, Shin Jinseo already had 1 loss to Lee Chi-hun. So let's continue to watch this league.
Well, Shin Jinseo didn't play on Monday, but he's on. Yeah, there's still. I think the top 5 there are all are basically the main contenders now.
Yeah, top 4, I say. Yeah, top 5, Kim Se-dong.
Maybe Kim Se-dong is not a serious contender, but it's very hard. Like I said, it's very hard to know because these players just wouldn't be used to playing this sort of time control.
Yeah, so let's see. This is one of Shin Jinseo's rare losses this year, so let's see what happens in this.
I think that's still actually his most recent loss.
Right. Yeah.
And that was in the first round of this tournament, so that
Yeah.
that gives you an indication as to how long he's gone since then.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh well. Another bit of news from Japan. The current Tengen, Seki Kotaro,
Yep.
failed to make a major league. He lost in the whole Nimbo prelim.
Oh, he lost in the Haninbo prelim, and this would be the A. This would be qualifying A.
Let me see. I believe so. I think he played in the same day as Tsumire.
Yeah, I don't think they would have. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, so he played in the group 7 of the Tokyo Prelim A. He lost to Rin Kaketsu, who's from Taiwan.
Oh, Rinken Ketsu, he's a Taiwanese player, right?
Yeah, he's a Taiwanese player. And it was a reasonably big reversal, 94%. But yeah, the current Tengen, I believe Seki has never made one of the top 3 leagues in Japan. Never. But he's the current Tengen holder.
No, he hasn't made one of the top 3 leagues because once you make one of the top 3 leagues, you get automatically promoted to 7 Dan.
Right.
And he only became 7 Dan when he challenged for the Tengen.
Right. So,
And he hasn't made a top league since then.
Yep. So continue to struggle.
He will definitely make a league soon.
At some point, yep.
Yes, but yeah, it is quite curious that he's a current major title holder and he hasn't made one of the the leagues.
Yeah.
He's still. It should be pointed out he holds the record for the fastest Japanese pro to win a major after turning pro.
Right.
He did it in under 5 years.
Right. Oh, that's
So
that's quite crazy.
yeah.
And I did hear in a podcast that Seki, he's very very conscientious. So he works really hard. His studies go like every day, using AI and all that. So
Oh, good.
I'm sure he'll get there at some point.
Keep studying.
Yeah, keep studying.
I'm very sure he'll
Yeah,
make leagues.
yeah.
It's you can't really fluke a major title in Japan.
No, he beat Ichiriki 3-1, so that's quite
Yeah,
something. Quite something.
yeah.
Of course, we'll have the Hoban Cup. I think we already know the lineup for the Hoban Cup.
Hoban Cup. What's the Hoban Cup?
The Hoban Cup is a Nongshim Cup style tournament for women. So it's three
That's
countries,
right.
right?
Nongshim Cup. 3 countries, 5 players each country.
Yeah, and they kind of just do a win and continue. So two countries will put out one player each, and the winner gets to stay, and the third country gets to put out their player to try and challenge it.
Yep.
And it continues on this way, so on and so
So
forth.
you can have one country
Yeah,
just keep winning,
yeah,
and that player will stay on.
yeah,
And a country wins once both of the other countries have lost all 5 of their players.
yeah. That's right.
So it's possible to win without having all of your players actually play a game.
No, yes, and that's happened in the Nongshim Cup a few
That's
times.
yeah, that's happened in the Nongshim Cup, particularly China. Sometimes they've won and only
Yeah,
2 of their players have actually played.
yeah. Like sometimes China would do like a seven win streak, and
Yep.
it's crazy. That's happened a few times in recent years, but not in the most recent two. But of course, the teams for China, Korea, and Japan have been settled, but it was kind of only announced in a comment somewhere. So I just made a post here. This is what they look like. So that's so
So I
Korea,
think the last pick was the
the
Koreans'
Kim
fifth
Chae Young. Yeah,
fifth choice. Yeah,
yeah,
and it was a wild card, Kim
yeah,
Chae Young.
yeah. I think we talked about it before because she's got COVID. She has to pull out of the tournament,
Yes.
and now she's back in. So we got Korea. We got Choi Jong, Hyo Seo Hyun, Lee Soju, Oh Eugene, and Kim Chae Young. So Oh Eugene, Kim Chae
Yep.
Young, Choi Jong are very famous players. The other
Yeah,
two,
they're the
probably not
top
so
three.
much.
They're
Yeah,
definitely the top 3 women players
yeah,
in Korea. And actually, spoiler alert, they're the only women players in the top 100 in Korea
yeah. That's
at
crazy.
the
And
moment.
to me, a notable missing someone who's missing Kim Yunji for Korea.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
very noticeable
yeah.
absence. She would
She would kill it.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the top 5 women players in Korea at the moment. But
Yeah,
she lost in the prelim,
yeah,
so she didn't qualify.
yeah.
And
And she didn't.
Korea have got still got a very strong team,
Yeah,
particularly with Choi Jong and Oh Yujin.
yeah. Um, in fact, I listened to like a podcast, and they were saying that for China to win, China needs to have good luck. But based on my calculations, that is actually not the case. So we'll see it a little bit of that later on. But for China, the team is also extremely strong. I would say they got Yu Zhiying, Zhou Hongyu,
Can
and
we have a look at the image?
image of them. Yes, that's Yu, that's
Yu
Zhou,
Jiying,
that's Lu
Zhou
Mingchen,
Hongyu.
Li He,
Mm-hmm.
a very famous player from the past, probably one of the strongest women players in
Yeah,
China,
former Bing Chen Cup winner.
and that's Wu Yiming, very young. I believe this might be a picture of her from maybe 2 or 3 years ago, because now she's like 17 or something. So this might be when
Right.
she's 13.
And sorry, who was the one in the middle? Because I talked over you.
Lu Mingchen,
Right.
yeah, also very strong player from China. But of course, a notable absence is Rui Naiwei, of China. She didn't
Yes.
she didn't she didn't she didn't make the top 5 in the Asian Games qualifier, which means that she missed out on the Hoban Cup as well, because the top you have to be in the top 5 in the Asian
That's
Games
right. They had a
qualifier.
qualifier, and you had to be in the top 5.
Yeah,
Another absence is Wang Chengxing, who I think was number 3 in the
right.
women Chinese rankings at the time.
Yes, she is actually. She still might be still, yes, and
Yep.
she's missing it. In Japan, We got the big five in Japan, like Fujisawa Arena, Ueno
Do we have the
Asami.
image of the Japanese players?
Yes, we do actually. Yeah. So actually, this is not in the order as in the post. So this the first lady is Xie Yimin, and then Suzuki Ayumi as Fujisawa Arena, Ueno Asami, and of course Nakamura Sumire, which we have met already. Yeah. So this is the Japanese team.
So
And
the anchors for each team would surely have to be for Japan
yeah,
would be
Fujisawa.
Fujisawa Arena.
Yep. And for Korea,
Even though Ueno Asami won the Senko Cup,
yep.
um, Fujisawa Arena would surely be the player you would put last.
Yeah. Well, see, this is very interesting because I don't know if from a game theory perspective, if you do the calculation whether putting your strongest player last is really the best strategy, it might be better off putting them first. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
That is interesting.
yeah. And I think the
That
theory is
it seems very unlikely that they will do that.
yeah, yeah, it might be just how they want to do this. I mean, in the Nongshim Cup, Korea did put Lee Se-do once, I believe. But
Knowing Lee Se-do, he probably asked to be first.
yeah, might have been, but I don't think he did enough in that one to be notable. But I the theory is this. So if I ask you this question, if you want to go into a Hoban or Nongshim Cup style competition, and you want to go in with a team of 4 instead of 5, do you think you'll be at a disadvantage? You would be, right?
Yes.
So what's the best chance for you to create a situation where your opponent has a team of 4 versus you having a team of 5?
Right. You have to beat
Yeah,
their first opponent.
yeah. So your best chance of doing that is putting your strongest player out first to create that numerical advantage earlier on. So I think that kind of makes sense to me, but we really don't know. You have to do the calculations to work it out.
Yeah. It obviously depends on the decision making that the other team does as well.
But it might be more interesting to put your strongest player last.
Yes. It certainly is more, I'd say, exciting.
Yeah.
But the other anchors would be for China, Yu Jiying,
Yeah.
and Korea, obviously, Choi Jong.
Yeah. And
Goes without saying.
and we'll see in the Chinese ranking later on. And you will notice that Yu Jiying and Zhou Hongyu, they are very, very close in the Chinese ranking. Like they're like could be neck and neck. So we have 2 very strong players from China in the Chinese team. So that could spell trouble for Korea and Japan. Okay, so that's Hoban Cup lineup. Finally confirmed. 47th Meijin League. This is one of the big 3 leagues.
Meijin League.
Big 3 leagues in Japan.
What?
Sorry.
A big major in Japan.
Yeah, well, one of the top 3, Meijin, Honimbo, and Kisei. This is a game between Shibano, Toramaru, and Zhengqi, and Shibano Toramaru won. I'm actually surprised by their head-to-head, which is 10-1. This seems
Wow,
a bit
that's
nuts.
pretty lopsided. 10-1 in whose favor?
In Shibano's favor.
Right.
This doesn't feel right to me, but that's the best we can obtain in terms of the statistics. So basically, this is games with Kifu. So if the game doesn't have Kifu, it's not in this head-to-head statistics. So, but it still doesn't sound right because Yu is one of the strongest players in Japan at the moment. So I don't know why it's so lopsided, but that's data is data. What it is. And in terms of the standings, after Shibano won, Shibano played 5 games, lost 1 and won 4. So Shibano is basically has the highest chance of becoming the winner of the league. And
how do you win the league? This is a 9-player league.
A 9-player league.
Single round robin.
So
you play 8 games, and whoever has the most wins the league.
Yeah, and I just for the life of me I can't remember this. Does the Meijin have a system where if you rank higher in the previous Meijin, then you get better?
Yes, you get favored in tiebreakers.
Right. So
if there's if there are two players that are tied for first,
Yeah.
they'll have a playoff.
Right.
And whoever wins the playoff is the challenger.
Right.
If there's more than two players that are tied for first,
Yeah.
then I believe the two highest ranking players
Right.
will play off.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So the Meijin League will probably be improved. The table anyway will be improved in future to include the tiebreaker rankings. But even just looking at this, Shibano is probably have one
Shibano
third.
has more wins than anyone else at the moment.
Yeah. So but his rating is a bit lower. So he's kind of still got 1/3 of a chance of challenging for Meijin. Of course, Shibano was the youngest Meijin ever. He beat.
Oh, that's right. He's a former Meijin.
Yeah, he won it at 19, and then he lost it the very next year.
So who is the current Meijin? Who are they trying to win the league and challenge against?
well, they have to challenge Yamayuta, who's the current Meijin. Yamayuta was the Meijin last year as well, and last year's challenger was Ichiriki, and Yamayuta just scraped through 4-3. So Yama will be challenged again, and and we'll see what happens later on with this league. So that's the Meijin League. And Kaza, you want to tell us about this one? Kang Dong-yoon selected for the LG Cup.
So this is about the LG Cup. So the Taiwanese qualifiers happened, the Japanese qualifiers happened, the Chinese qualifiers happened, and the Korean qualifiers happened. All that was left is the wildcard selection.
Yeah.
And this ended up being Kang Dong-yoon. So I mentioned last week that Kang Dong-yoon had competed in the last 11 LG Cups.
Yeah.
And I think he lost to Park Ha-min in the final round of qualifying for this LG Cup. So he was going to have his streak broken. But no, he got the wild card. So now he's going to be in his 12th straight LG Cup and his 15th overall LG Cup.
Oh wow, that's quite something.
Yep, of course. 7 years ago, during his streak of LG Cup appearances, he won the LG Cup. So he's actually a former champion.
Yep. Now, okay. Kang Dong-yoon, I believe, is currently ranked in the top 10 in Korea.
He is, yes.
And almost all the players above him in the rankings were already qualified for the LG Cup, haven't they?
All but one, yes.
All but one. So who's the person that missed out?
The only other person above him in the rankings that isn't in the LG Cup is Lee Dong Hoon.
Yeah.
But Lee Dong Hoon, for some reason or other, didn't enter the qualifiers.
Yeah. And it's not clear why he didn't do it.
I have no idea why. There are other tournaments. For instance, the Korea Strongest tournament, he didn't enter the qualifiers for that either.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's even in the GS Caltex Cup.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that.
Yeah,
I don't know why he's missing so many events.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And of course, I'm not Korean and I don't browse Korean social forums.
Yeah.
Or know anything about their personal lives.
Yeah.
So I really don't know why. If someone can find out why and let us know, that would be
that'd be great.
Very helpful. I'm extremely curious. But yeah, he didn't enter the qualifiers, and presumably if you don't enter qualifiers, you're not going to be considered for the wild card.
Yeah.
So Kang Dong-yoon, I think of all those that entered the qualifiers, he was the highest rated.
Yeah.
The other person that I would have seriously considered for the wild card was Lee Chang-suk.
Yeah.
Who obviously didn't qualify either.
Yeah.
But they picked Kang Dong-yoon.
Yeah.
He's been in good form this year.
Yep.
I think he's actually won 35 games now.
Wow.
He's won a couple more since
Yeah.
he got the wild card, but yeah, he's won a lot of games. He's doing. He had a pretty. I have to say he had a pretty bad 2021, particularly in the Jar League.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Yeah.
he's done well in the first half of this year.
Yeah.
And I think I'm fine with this wildcard selection.
Yeah. I mean, apart from Lee Dong Hoon, you gotta, if you want to select the strongest, probably comes down to Cheng. But it just so happens that don't know why Lee Dong Hoon wasn't even there.
Yep.
Yep. So, staying in Korea. Oh, by the way, that means in the LG Cup there will be out of the 20. So LG Cup this year will also be 24 players. So after this wild card, we will have 13 Korean players. So more than half.
That's a lot of Korean players. Yeah. That's over half.
Yeah. So chances are in the first round, you end up having a Korean versus Korean game.
Probably.
Yeah.
It should be mentioned. Not all 24 players play in the first round. Only 16 will.
Correct.
The other 8 will be seeded into the second round.
Yeah. Okay. Staying in Korea, the Korean Asian Games qualifier was also happening, and if you recall, we talked about Kimonji being a notable exception from the Hoban team lineup for Korea, and that's for good reasons. She won 4 games in a row in the Asian Games qualifier, so she basically qualified for the Asian Games for the Korea.
Well, so to give a bit more information about the qualifiers. So this is a qualification for the women's team.
Yeah.
Now, the women's team already had 3 players.
Yeah.
Choi Jong, Oh Yoo-jin, and Kim Chi-young.
Yeah.
And this qualifying tournament was for the final spot.
Yeah.
And it was a 4-player double round robin.
Yeah.
And the 4 players were Kim Yoon-ji, Oh Jong-ah, Park Ji-yeon, and Cho Seong-ah.
Yeah.
So double round robin means that they have to play 6 games, and there's only 1 spot. So whoever wins the most games will qualify. And yeah, as you said here, Kim Yoon-ji won her first 4 games. I think Cho Seong-ah at that point was on 3 wins.
Right.
So Kim Yoon-ji hasn't yet qualified for the team, but she's on the right track.
Yeah. And basically, the Korean website was pretty unfriendly for basically non-Koreans. Now you say, well, of course the Korean website should be in Korean, but they made the names pictures, so I can't even copy it and.
Oh yeah, that is something that annoys me about the Korean website. When you go to the pages for each sort of tournament bracket or table or draw or anything, they're always images.
Yeah.
So you can't copy and paste
the names. Yeah. So but for the LG Cup, you may recall on Pro Weiqi there was pages and pages of who won what. And that was only possible because they put an Excel spreadsheet there with the names of all the players.
Yes, sometimes they will attach. They will have an Excel spreadsheet attachment.
Yep.
So they'll have the players' names in text.
Yeah.
And sometimes they won't.
Yeah.
For instance, the GS Caltex Cup.
Yeah.
Doesn't have an Excel attachment, so that's annoying. Yeah.
So Korean Baduk Association, if you're listening, please have them in just plain text or at least attach an Excel, so we can just copy the names.
We would love that. Thank you.
and actually have to know who's playing without being able to read Hangul. But the very next bit of news is Kimonji wins 5 games in a row. Basically.
Right, she won her first 5. She won the first 5 games, and also Cho Seong-ah actually lost her 5th game, so that put her at 2 losses, which meant that Kim Yoon-ji qualified for the Asian Games with a round to spare.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's okay, so the only women's event in the Asian Games for Weiqi is a team event. So a team of 3 will play each other, and the Korean team already have 3 players. So Kimonji is really just a 4th player. So probably just as like a sub, so they can sub her for some games.
She'll be a reserve.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that. So Kimonji makes the team.
I do recall that the last Asian Games, there was also a women's event, which was also... the last Asian Games to have Weiqi.
Yeah.
There was a women's event, which was also 3 players.
Yeah.
And Korea did have 4 players, and all 4 players did end up playing games.
Yeah. So I think you're meant to... you're allowed to have 1 reserve, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
And the 2022 Korean Women's League selection ceremony took place 3 days ago, and this is what happens. Again, I can't read it.
The way that the Korean Women's League works is there are 8 or so teams. I think there are 8 teams, and they'll play a double round robin over the season.
Right.
So they'll play each team twice, and each match is 3 games. So in the in the Open Baduk League, it's 5 games per match.
Yeah.
In the Women's League, it's only 3 games.
Yep.
So you need to win 2 games to win the match.
Yeah.
And each team has 4 players. So essentially it's 3 players and a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that teams are selected are that teams they're allowed to keep players from the previous season.
Yep.
So particularly if a team does really, really well, they may keep 1, 2, or even all of their players.
Right.
In fact, the last season's winners, who I think are called Samsung Cable Car or something like that.
Yeah.
They kept all 4 of their players.
Right.
From the championship team. Oh, sorry, Samcheok Marine Cable Car.
Yep.
And all the players that you don't keep, they go into a draft, and then the teams, they select players from the draft to fill out their remaining spots. Now there is you may think that if a team does really, really well, just keep all your players and then no other team can pick them, or at least keep your strongest player. But there is, it's not that simple, because, for instance, the 2 strongest players in the draft this year were Kimonji and Oh Jong-ah, and they were in the draft because they didn't actually compete last season.
Yep.
Oh Jong-ah was she was on maternity leave.
Yep.
So she wasn't going to, play a full women's season while she was, 7-8 months pregnant.
Yep.
While Kim Yoon-ji, of course, was suspended.
Yep. Yeah.
So teams may want to get rid of all of their players just for the opportunity to draft Kim Yoon-ji or Oh Jong-ah. Especially players the teams that didn't have Kim Chi-young, Oh Yoo-jin, or Choi Jong would probably get a better top board in Kim Yoon-ji than by keeping their own player.
Yep.
So, and in terms of which team gets the draw in which order, it is random.
Right.
It's randomly assigned, but whoever draws first in the first round will draw last in the second and third round.
Right.
To sort of balance it out.
Yeah.
But a couple of picks. So like I said, Kim Yoon-ji was selected first.
Yep.
Oh Jong-ah was selected second.
Yep.
And the third selection was this very new player called Kim Hyo-young. She's a one-dan. But obviously she's very highly regarded because she was selected third. She she was selected by Buan Seimangyum Jamboree.
Yeah.
I'm sure I pronounced that perfectly.
Yeah. Or Jamboree part.
Some other players that were in the draft: Kim Miri, Kim Yoon Young, a very popular
Yeah.
Twitch streamer.
Oh.
You of course know Kim Yoon Young, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think she lives in I think she married a Canadian
Yep.
or something like that. I found it interesting that she's actually participating in the women's league because I thought that she permanently resides in Canada.
Right.
But it seems like she's going to be participating in this one. Lee Sol-ju, the Hoban Cup rep, she was picked in the second round, and she's on the same team as Kimonji.
Yep.
Yeah. So one other thing. If you go to the second image there.
Yep.
Oh, what are we looking at here? Is this is Kim Yoon Young?
This is Kim Yoon Young. Her wedding, which was about to be held in Korea, was actually made the news of the Korean Baduk Association. So I'm just scrolling through.
Actually, she did get married. She got married in Canada, and she was going to have a wedding ceremony in Korea.
Right.
But COVID happened.
Yeah.
So she actually got married, I think, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So she hasn't held her Korean ceremony.
I think they're hoping to hold. Yeah, I think they're hoping to hold a Korean wedding ceremony this year.
Yeah. So let's see.
Of course, she was also pregnant last year.
Right. So
that may be why she didn't compete in the women's league.
Right.
But if you go back to the image.
Yeah.
No, it's not that image. The image in the Pro Weiqi post.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. So no, not that one. Yeah. So those green names, they're the ones that were kept. They're the ones that teams kept. Right. So those players didn't enter the draft.
Right.
They were kept by their team. So as you can see, Samchok Marine Cable Car, they're the 5th team there, and all of their players were kept.
Right.
And I mean, you can see, that team is stacked. Kim Chi-young, Cho Hee-yeon, Kim Yoon-seon. Yeah, it's no wonder they kept that team, and it's no wonder that team, won the league. So they're going to be the favorites.
Yeah.
If you also scroll back up, you notice there are a couple of yellow.
Yep.
Players.
Yellow ones. Yep.
So it turns out that each of these teams belongs to a city or a region of Korea.
Yep.
And you're allowed to pick a player local to that region.
Right. This is before the draft.
Yes, this is also before the draft.
Right.
So yeah, you can pick a regional player for your team. So Boyong Mud is one of the teams, and it so happens that Choi Jong is from Boyong.
Yeah.
So you better believe it that every single year they select Choi Jong as their regional pick.
Yeah.
Completely unsurprisingly. What is surprising though is that they kept all of her teammates.
Right.
Because her teammates didn't do particularly well. I think they went something like 11 and 17.
Yeah.
Whereas Choi Jong won all of her games and they didn't win the league.
Yeah.
You would think that Choi Jong with any sort of above average supporting cast would easily win the league.
Yeah. Because you basically needed one more win, right?
Yes, if Choi Jong wins, that's already one win, and you just need to win one of the other 2 boards.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to do that every time. You just need to do that enough times.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't work out for them last season, but what about the season before that?
Oh, okay. So that is true. This is actually at least the third year this is the third year in a row that they've had this team, and they did win the league 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I would argue that Kang Da-jong did very well 2 years ago, and she didn't do well last year.
Yeah.
And sometimes players just lose form.
Yeah.
And other players come up and rise up above them, and particularly in the women's league where there's a fewer pool of players, it's a lot more noticeable when players, rise up the rankings and get to the top, like Kim Yoon-ji and Cho Seong-ah last year.
Yeah. All right.
But we'll see. We'll see. They might do well.
Yeah.
I would consider them one of the favorites as well, just because of Choi Jong. Yeah. I would also Seom Yosu would consider them a strong team because of Kim Yoon-ji and Lee Sol-ju.
Yeah.
And which other team? I would probably say Seong Wipo Chil Simni. They came third last season. They've got Cho Seong-ah, Lee Min-jin. They kept both of those players, and now they've got Kim Yoon Young.
Yeah.
They're probably a formidable team.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. See if we can find time to do a simulation of what's actually happened.
Yeah.
But
I don't know when the league starts, but they usually have a round of matches 4 matches each week.
Yeah. I thought it's like they play on Sunday nights or something like
that. They'll try. They typically do it staggered, so it's one game a week. The annoying thing is that I think they do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
So we'll have, and it's in the evening, so we'll only have one match of the first match of each round by the time we do our podcast. But we can get around that.
Yeah, we might do it 1 week delay kind of thing. But now that the LG Cup is kind of determined, I just did a simulation of who's gonna win. I mean, obviously, Kang really doesn't feel like having like a really strong chance of winning, but to me, it's quite remarkable that if you do the simulation using the ratings, Shin Jinseo's got a 40% chance of winning the LG Cup.
Yeah, that is quite crazy.
That's quite crazy.
You have to look at how Shin Jinseo has been playing, and it doesn't seem that crazy.
Well, I mean, Shin Jinseo would presumably start in the round of 16, so he only has to win.
He's absolutely starting in the round of 16.
Yeah, so he only need to win 4 games.
Well, you need to win 3 games to make the final, and then the final's a best of 3.
Okay, so he could be home as early as 5 games, or max.
Oh, that's what he did last. That's what he did last time.
Yeah, so of course, last time when he played Yang Dingxin, the first game he was like down to like 1%, but he still came back.
Yeah, it should also be pointed out that the finals played in February, so as good as Shin Jinseo is, there might be one of these players might get into red hot form or or something strange happens. You can't just automatically give this tournament to Shin Jinseo, and of course, no one's actually won the LG Cup 2 years in a row either. Correct. So he would be making history if he did that.
Yeah, so which is quite strange because LG Cup's been running for 27 years, but no one's won it twice in a row. But let's see. I want to skip this one because it's a pretty inconsequential game in there.
So this is the Korea's strongest game.
Yeah.
Korea's strongest league, and these are the 2 bottom feet. These are the 2 last place.
Yeah, so they're like guaranteed to get relegated. So they just played.
So it turns out Hong Mu-jin won.
Yeah.
Notably, so I think Cho Han-sung is the first player.
Yeah.
In the history of this tournament to go 0 wins in the entire league.
Oh wow.
That's unfortunate because it is a bit crazy because he just won 5 straight games to qualify for the LG Cup.
Yeah. But maybe the opponent's just stronger here.
Who knows?
Who knows? But
anyway, better luck next time.
Better luck next time. Players. Hopefully, yeah. So that's that. Of course, Shu Hao Hong took the game 1 of the 21st Taiwan 10 yuan.
This is big. This is the 10
This is big. This is game 1 of best of 7.
And Shu Hao Hong won?
Yeah, Shu Hao Hong won
versus
Wang Yuanjun. And Shu Hao Hong, just you look at the rating, Shu is rated 100 points above.
I must say I didn't watch this game.
No, I didn't watch it either.
Okay.
But that, even if you look at the head-to-head, the head-to-head is 27 versus 14. So in Shu's favor. So yeah,
That's a lot of games.
that's a well. I mean, it's not probably not that many.
But that is impressive considering how young Shu Hao Hong is, and he
Yeah,
probably, he probably would have had to face Wang Jun a lot of times when he was weaker,
yeah,
like Shu Hao Hong, that is.
yeah.
So to beat him 27 times already, that's pretty impressive. That's a better head-to-head than Shin Jinseo has against Park Jun Hwan, for
Right.
instance.
Yeah. So that's like almost double. So like maybe 60 versus 30 for Shu versus Young. And if you look at the ratings, given that Shu's taken game one, if I'm not wrong, uh, it's one of those games where it ended up in a complicated situation, and Wang just had to just did the chose the wrong path to start a crow, I believe, something like that. But anyway, just look at the ratings. Based on the simulation, Shu has a 90% chance of winning the 10 yuan title. So that's that. Oops.
Um, I do believe that the Taiwan Weiqi Association does have a YouTube page, and I think that they do stream these games.
Yeah, they do. They do
So,
stream these games.
so if you do want to watch the Tianwen, our Pro Weiqi subreddit does have a calendar.
Yep.
You can look up when the next game is.
Yep.
I think the next game is on Tuesday.
Right. Yep. There's a calendar.
And just look for the Taiwanese YouTube page. We'll try and post it in the Discord channel.
Yeah.
When it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we get the chance to do that. All right. So so that's that, and I believe I've sorted it by hotness again. So it's not by. Oh, by the way, if you go to the Pro Weiqi Reddit, so that's the calendar, and you can get to the Discord channel there as well. So sometimes the live games, the links to the live streams get posted in the Discord channel. So that's where we go. So let's continue with.
I think next big news is an incident, some controversy in the Meijin.
In the Meijin, yes,
League.
in the Meijin League. So, we did talk about Shibano's game versus Zhengqi, but this came out basically for me the day after. Now apparently, when they play the game, they basically the time is kept tracked of by the Kifu recorder, I believe. So there's usually a couple of young players keeping track of how much time each player has used, and apparently, the Kifu recorder for Shibano just kind of lost track of the time, or maybe he just accidentally gave Shibano 10 extra minutes. So Shibano 10 minutes. And the game, I believe, in the Meijin League would be 5 hours each.
5 hours each. That's right. Yeah.
So basically, it was discovered after the game. Looking at the Kifu, I believe the way they discovered it was something like when the Kifu recorder would write down the time in which each move was made, like literally put down the time and the move in the Kifu, and they just tabulate the time, and they realize that 10 minutes extra was given to Shibano. It's just a simple mistake. But
wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 10 minutes, but given that he's lost, I believe the organizer and the referee tried to ask his opinion, and apparently when it was discovered, Shibano just remained silent. He was just like, okay, didn't say anything. But Yu just says, okay, I still accept this defeat, even though Shibano had extra 10 minutes. So that was that. So that's the results remain.
I will say I've watched a few Baduk TV games, so some Korean games, and I have seen a case where a player got an extra Byoyomi period, 1 minute Byoyomi.
Right.
And I think it was because the recorder forgot to start the countdown on time.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know because I obviously don't speak Korean, but I didn't hear. Usually, when there's 10 seconds left, the recorder will start a countdown.
Yeah.
And you can hear it on the stream.
Yeah.
And I remember this time I didn't hear the countdown.
Right.
And then I saw it go to 0, and the Byoyomi counter stayed at what it was.
Yeah.
So I would assume that they just forgot to start the countdown on time, and then they just decided that
Yeah.
it was a free Byoyomi.
Yeah.
So I have seen that, but this is 10 minutes of extra main time. That's something new.
Yeah. No. So very what should I say? It's very gentlemanly of you to accept the result anyway.
Yeah, it's sort of I would imagine it's probably the honor thing in Japan. To be honest, if I was playing in a tournament, and my opponent accidentally had 10 extra minutes, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Right. But this is Meijin League, so
yeah. I mean, they did ask you for his opinion or what he thought he wanted to do. I guess. But you just
I mean, I don't think the rules. I don't think the rules have provisions for these sorts of things.
No. So, yeah. But just another interesting picture that we're looking at from the Korean strongest league. They you know how when they show the pictures, they usually just show a picture of the player, like very serious, looking at the go board, playing the game. But in this one, they're showing Shin Min-jun and Kang Dong-yoon posing. Like
right. Kang Dong-yoon is holding a
black stone.
A black stone, and Shin Min-jun's pointing at
you from the screen. That's a bit of an innovation.
Dead serious look on his face.
That's a bit of an interesting thing. And I have to say, this post.
I can't believe a post was made about this.
Yeah. So this post was called the Occasional Pro Weiqi Awards. Lack of Fighting Spirit Award goes to Kang Dong-yoon. Now I guess. This is what was given when I looked at the game.
Wait a sec. Wait, I just realized this is the Korea's strongest game between Shin Min-jun and Kang Dong-yoon.
Yeah.
Right, this is a big game.
Yeah, this
because if Shin Min-jun wins this, he wins the entire league.
Yeah. So if you recall, Shin Min-jun has 6-1 record before this game, and after this he basically Shin Min-jun beat Kang Dong-yoon, but it's how this game ended. Like let's have a look at the picture. This is where the game ended. We're looking at a picture of where the game ended, and we just ran the analysis using AI. So of course here, Kang is black, and Kang this is when black resigned. But if you look at what AI is telling us, AI is saying Kang still has a. If AI play this game, right, AI would have a 10% chance of winning. So and I did some tabulations, like if you have a 10% chance of winning, according to AI, then you might your chance of actually winning this might actually be like 15% or whatever it is.
There's a lot of games where the winner was at 10%.
Yeah.
At some point.
But the fact that Kang just decided to give up when he still had, according to AI, 10%. Basically, a little bit of lack of fighting spirit. So that's why he got the award.
It's not common, especially in Korea, and especially considering Kang Dong-yoon was at risk of relegation.
Yeah.
But I still can't believe a post was made about.
Well, you better believe it. You better believe it. It's happened. So, and this is staying in Korea. Kim Yoon-tae, 18 years old, just become new pro. So that's how he looks like.
Yep, and I saw this article. I think for each of the pros, they ask who their favorite player is.
Yeah.
And would you believe who this guy said his favorite player was? Shin Jinseo.
Oh my god!
What a hero!
He's getting another occasional Pro Weiqi award. The most unoriginal favorite player of all time. So
Well, best of luck to him. Best
Yeah,
of luck to
best of
him.
luck. Best of
This
luck.
this is I think this is the 150th enrollment
Right,
competition,
right, and yeah.
by the way,
Well,
in
um,
Korea.
yeah, but 18, very young. I did see some Chinese articles liking him though, saying that he only made pro at 18. Is not really gonna add anything to the. But I really don't think that's the point of this. It's just that they made
Yeah,
pro,
I
right?
mean, yeah, best of luck to him.
Yeah,
Well,
best of luck.
there's no need for negativity.
I exactly. So, I believe we haven't talked about the Asian Games Korean men's qualifier. Oh, I think we might we okay. I don't think we did, or not in the league, not showing the league form
No,
anyway. Yeah,
no, we didn't. But so the Korean team, so the men's team in the Asian Games
yep,
is a team of five.
yep,
The Koreans are selecting six players,
yep,
so five and one reserve.
yep.
Um, Shin Jinseo, Park Chun-hwan,
And
Byun
Pyong,
Sang-gil, and Kim Young-hoon,
yep.
I believe, were all selected
Oh,
automatically.
so Kim Yoon Young as well. So I have to edit this
Yes.
post. Okay, so
And then the last and yeah, the last two spots were earned through qualification,
yeah,
and this was the final qualification tournament.
mm,
Six players got through to it: Kim Ji Seok, Won Song Jin, Shin Min Jun, Lee Ji Hyun, Kang Dong Yun, and Park Yun Ho.
yep,
And it's a single round robin,
yep,
so 5 games
yep,
for each player,
yeah,
and the two players with the most wins
yep.
make the team.
Yep. And currently, after 4 games has been played, and did you say it's a single round robin?
It's a single round robin,
So
yes.
basically, by this point, because 3 games has been played, I believe today was where they played the last games. So we're looking at Lee Ji-hoon on 3 wins out of 4 games, and Shin Min-jun on 3 wins out of 4 games. And the other two player Pacquiaon Ho is on 2 wins. Kang Dong Yun's on 2 wins. Won Song Jin, Kim Ji Sok on 1 win. So you have to say, Won and Kim unfortunately are gonna miss out.
Yeah, no, they're going to miss out.
Yeah. So that's the Asian Games Korean qualifier. Again, that's the page where they had all the names in a picture, so couldn't really get anything out of it. But also, for the Hoban Cup, given that the teams are all determined, just did a simulation of who's gonna win. Now, this might surprise people because China is expected to have a 46% chance of winning if they put out their players in the order of their rating, meaning the player with the lowest rating gets played first, and every team also do that, and every team also put their strongest player at the end. This is what it works out to be. And one thing that I think is very interesting is that Japan just team has an 11% chance of winning. This is a lot better than what the men's team is kind of getting in terms of winning percentages in the Nongshim Cup. So the Japanese women's team is definitely a lot closer to the Chinese team and the Korean team. But
Yes.
of course, they're not favorites. Yeah. And the other interesting I wanted to point out is that you can do the winner prediction by by the number of players left, and Korea has a 43% chance of winning, but the chance of winning with just one player left is 38%. So 38 of 43 is basically due to Choi Jung. Just we have to the most likely chance if Korea the most likely scenario if Korea wins if Choi Jung is the last player standing and she wins the games for them. But if you look at the Chinese team, the chances of having one player left is 28%, but the chances of having 2 players left is 16%. So that means China is got 2 really strong players and both can finish off the competition. So if you look at the ratings, right, Choi Jung of course is the best out of the women, rated around 3,300. So that would actually put her around top 20 in Korea. Really, that's really strong. But the Chinese team are rated. The top 2 players in the Chinese team are rated in the 3,200s. So 2 really strong players in China. just slightly weaker than Choi Jung. So that's why China's got a really good chances as well. So as it stands, China's got a slightly better chance. So this might surprise people.
Yeah, I would say it's yeah, I would consider Korea and China have roughly equal chances. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. And this is back to Japan. Apparently, Abema, I believe it's a Japanese streaming service. I'm not 100% sure. I think I watched some shogi stuff on that one. They recently made a show about Yoda Norimoto, right?
Yoda Norimoto is a legend.
Legend. Yes.
How many titles has he won?
Plenty.
And of course he won the Nongshim Cup.
For Japan. So yes. So
Man.
well, the first, if I'm not wrong, the first 5 or 6 Nongshim Cups were won by
He
Korea.
won the Samsung Cup as well.
Yeah, he won the first Samsung Cup.
Oh, the first Samsung Cup.
I believe so. I believe he won the first
He
one.
did.
Yes,
He did.
the first one. But did you know that in the second Samsung Cup he lost to a very special player. First round as well.
No. Who did he lose to?
He lost to Hans.
Oh, he did lose to Hans.
Yes. Of course.
Hans the German.
Yes, of course. The Hans tragically passed away. But yeah. So
Yes.
so by all means, Yoda Norimoto, a legend, very colorful life. But he apparently during the interview during the show, he basically mentioned that he's made over 800 million yen from his prize winning and all that
What?
stuff.
Wait,
800 million.
800 million?
Yeah. That's what he said, or maybe some of it is from his gambling or whatever. But he's made a decent amount of
800 million yen is like 8 million Australian dollars.
yeah. So well, so like a Kisei would be around 400,000, right? So you would win.
But he never won the Kisei.
Uh,
He did win the Meijin 4 times.
yeah, like and probably other titles and just random.
Are you
other
sure it's
things.
not 80 million yen?
No, 80 million would just be two titles. Yeah. This. Oh, anyway.
Wait, are you saying that he's blown all his money?
Yes. So well, they asked him how much he's won ever. And he said, around 800, more than 800 million. Right. That's what he said. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know exactly how much he won. I never did the calculation, but he said he earned that's roughly $8 million, right? Almost. And
Wow.
and then he goes on to say that he lost it all. He spent it all on gambling, alcohol, and women, right? So that's and this is just the whole show was guys talking about Yoda interviewing him, and he talking about his life story. So this is actually the picture where it says 800 million yen and above. So that's what it says. And the interesting thing was that Yoda Norimoto, his one of his sons is also a professional, I believe, and now he lives on 5 million yen per year pension from the Nihon King. He rents a small apartment. I believe this is we're looking at his apartment. I believe so. So it's a really tiny place. He's got a camera. He's got a Go board. Got some books. On Go, I guess.
Didn't he just play in the Gosei semi-final?
Yeah, he did. He's still playing.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's still making money. And what
Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully now he's let the cat out of the bag. He doesn't blow it on gambling, alcohol, and women anymore.
Yeah, no. So this reminds me of George Best, the footballer.
Yeah, the footballer.
Yeah, George Best. Of course, George Best retired at the age of 28, I believe. He was one of Manchester United's most famous players before Manchester United was what they are today. Before Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yes, he was huge.
He was like huge. He was known as one of the best dribblers in the world. It was him and Garincha, probably something like that. But he was so George Best was interviewed once, and they asked him like, where, like, what you used to be a famous footballer, used to earn a lot of money. Why are you so poor now? And he was like, I spent most of my money on fast cars, alcohol, and women, and the rest I just wasted away.
Yeah, I think a lot of NBA players do that as well.
Yeah,
But you can sort of understand it for those sports because you're not just a athlete, you're a celebrity.
yeah,
And you're expected, like you feel you should live a celebrity lifestyle, and then once you retire you're not a celebrity anymore, but you still live the celebrity lifestyle and you spend celebrity amounts of money
yeah,
while no longer earning a celebrity salary.
yeah.
But surely even in Japan, Go players are not celebrities.
Yeah, no.
It seems more like he had some sort of addiction.
Yeah, which is not good. But apparently this is a picture of where Yoda lost his Meijin at the age of 38 to Cho Yu. This is Cho Yu on the right here in the picture. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. Anyway, that's the show.
Wasn't he married to a Go player?
Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Really not sure. Yeah, I don't really know too much about his personal life. But anyway, for those who can understand Japanese, I guess, or if someone's kind enough to translate the whole show, I'll be interested to watch it.
Yes.
But anyway, this is
Korean rankings. The
Korean
rankings are out.
Yes, they release the rankings every month, don't they?
They release them. Yes, they release them every month. They're monthly updates. But they usually don't release them until the 4th or 5th day of the month.
Right. It's kind of similar with the Chinese ranking. Yeah. So
Here, believe it or not, Shin Jinseo is number 1 in the Korean rankings.
Yeah.
The 29th straight month that he's number 1 in Korean rankings. I think this is his first undefeated month this year.
Yeah.
He went 10-0.
Wow.
So no surprise that he stays atop the rankings.
Yeah.
So that's the women's rankings.
Right.
There's actually the top 3 there: Choi Jong, Oh Yoo-jin, and Kim Chi-young. They're all in the top 100 in the open rankings.
Nice.
Kim Chi-young has just moved back into the top 100. She was out of the top 100 in April.
Yeah.
But if you also look if you go back to that table.
Yeah.
So that third column there, that's their ranking points.
Yeah.
So the more ranking points you have, the higher your rankings. For reference, Shin Jinseo is at about 10,300.
Yeah. So this is what we have.
And Park Jun-hwan, is at about 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fourth column there.
Yeah.
Is how many positions they moved up or down.
Right.
And the 5th column there is how many points they gained or lost.
Right.
In case you're wondering, the 6th column is how many wins they had in the month, and the last column is how many losses they had.
And this is draws.
Yeah, that's draw. The second last column is draws.
Okay, yeah.
Now notice Kim Yoon-ji there.
Yeah.
She's 4th there. Yeah. She gained 51 ranks.
Right.
So that's not in the women's rankings, that's in the open rankings. She gained 51 ranks. She gained 200 ranking points.
Yeah.
So she's definitely trying to catch up on the time that she lost from her suspension.
Yeah.
I think that puts her at 105 in Korea. So she's just outside the top 100. It seems almost inevitable that she'll make it into the top 100 next month.
Right.
So she's also moved ahead of Cho Chong-ah.
Yep.
So in top 4 in Korea. So Cho Chong-ah has now been pushed back to 5th.
Yep.
And it's looking like Kim Yoon-ji's just going on a tear this year. She's actually at 40 wins already this year.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
Which is in China, that's like a good year in China.
Yeah.
Obviously purely based on they play less games in China, but who knows? I'm very interested to see just how many games she wins this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some other news in the rankings. Pacquiaon Ho is in the top 10 for the first time.
Yep.
He's ninth.
Yep.
I think that's Choi Jong is 20th, so she's back in the top 20.
That's crazy.
I think her highest rank is 16th.
Right.
But yeah, she's back in the top 20. Always good to see.
Yeah.
Pity she didn't make the LG Cup, but
yeah, almost.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Also, Lee Chang Shuk surprisingly is out of the top 10 now.
Yeah.
I think that will be temporary.
Yeah. They are very close. So Kang, who got given the LG Cup wildcard, is 8th.
Yeah, he had another good month, as you can see. Pacquiaon Ho had an exceptional month. He gained 133 ranking points.
Yeah. Moved
and
up 9
places.
Yeah.
Okay. So other than that, I think Lee Chang Ho is still hovering around 40th.
Yeah.
Which is good. Moon Min Jung is still not yet in the top 50. He's 52nd.
Yeah. So 52nd. So Moon Min Jung is basically kind of Korea's next, big thing meant to be.
Yeah, well, he had a superb Globus Cup, which is basically the world championship for
under 20s.
Under 20s. Yeah. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He beat some extremely good players. He beat She Ke, Li Weiqi. I think he beat Liao Wanhe.
Yeah.
That's a very impressive tournament.
Yeah.
But he really hasn't continued that sort of performance.
Yeah.
Certainly not in the... I mean, in the next Globus Cup, he did lose to Wang Jinghao, which is... I mean, there's nothing embarrassing about that.
Yeah.
But you kind of think that, beating She Ke, Li Weiqi, Liao Wanhe all in the same tournament.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be, fighting for LG Cup spots and being in the top 20 by now. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. He's clearly got the potential.
Yeah. It's quite crazy how well he's done in that tournament. So my favorite part of this Google Translate is still Byung Sang Yu becoming reimbursement day. That is still the one that
there is the Google Translate for some of the Korean articles are very curious.
Yeah. It's quite crazy. Anyway, so that's your Shin Jinseo. I think we'll see the Chinese ratings later on as well. So this is an interesting one. A Malaysian who turned pro in Japan made it to the Kisei C League.
That's right. So yesterday there was a Kisei prelim. It was the final round of the prelims, and it was one of the last prelims.
Yeah.
Still going between Zeng Fukang, who is a Malaysian pro. I think he turned pro 2 or 3 years ago in the Nihon Kiin.
Yeah.
And Ueno Asami, the Senko Cup champion. Mm. Now, Ueno Asami was actually in the final round of the Kisei qualifier last year.
Yeah.
And she lost to Fukuoka Kotaro.
Oh, yeah.
A very promising young player. I think she lost by 0.5 point.
Oh, yeah.
In that one.
Yeah.
So heartbreakingly close to making Kisei League C last year. This year, she fights her way back to
the final
round of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
And she falls short once again. It's a bit upsetting.
Yeah.
For Asami, but on the other hand, big news for.
Oops.
And he's in the Kisei C League.
Yeah. Gareth, Gaza, we might have lost you for a few seconds there. But so
Oh, okay.
we didn't hear your last sentence, but I think we can guess what
All I said is it's big news for Malaysia.
Yes, yes. Well, of course, Zhang is not the only player from Southeast Asia to make pro in Japan, but I feel a bit uneasy to say that the other player, because there's another player who's supposedly whose nationality is supposedly Indonesia. I have to look up his name. I apologize, I can't actually remember his name right now. There's another player, but it's hard to say whether he's from Indonesia because I believe he might have been born in Japan and studied in Japan and grew up in Japan. So he might be ethnic Indonesian and maybe by nationality still Indonesian. But maybe I'm not sure if we should still consider him a Southeast Asian player, given that he's born and raised in Japan. But hey,
Well, who knows?
yeah, who knows?
I'm not entirely sure about the other professionals.
Yeah, yeah. Zhang also studied code in China. So, and I actually saw the win to loss ratio for Japanese players. I believe if I remember correctly, Zhang at this point in the year might be 13-3. So he's won 13 games this year in Japan.
Gee.
13-3. So pretty decent record. So yeah,
I'll try and check that now.
yeah.
His record is it's 12. It may be 12-3.
Right. Okay, close. Maybe my memory was not 100%. But yeah, he's done quite well.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's
really
a really good record.
Yeah, like Kisei C would be the fourth tier in the Kisei system. So
It's the fourth tier. We still haven't gone across the Kisei system.
Yeah. So at some point, yeah.
Essentially, just very briefly, the Kisei, it is the lowest tier, and you basically go up and down tiers by doing well.
Yeah.
It's like the English Premier League or the European soccer leagues. If you do well in the C tier, you go up to the B tier.
Yeah.
If you do well in that, you go up to the A tier. If you do well in that, you go up to the S tier.
Yeah. And of course, the tier above S is actually the title holder.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one other aspect of the Kisei system is regardless of which tier you're in, as long as you are in a tier, you have a chance to challenge for the Kisei.
Yeah. And of course, this is all on the Nihon King website, just that it's in Japanese, but this pyramid shows the three different tiers. I think it says here that in the prelim there's about 400 players that participate, but only 32 players make the C League. Right?
That's
32.
right. The C League is 32 players.
Yeah.
The B League is 16 players. The A League is 8 players, and the S League is 6 players.
So making the C League already puts you near the top 50 in Japan, really. Right. So
yes. And I mean, there are players like Kitaro Seki, the current Tengen title holder, who isn't even in the league. He failed to qualify for the C League this year.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can go over it a bit more in depth once maybe once the C League starts.
Yeah. We might do a special.
It's definitely a complicated system.
Yeah.
But it is also an interesting one.
Yeah, I think we might do a special episode where we just go over that one, so people can listen to it.
Yeah, it might take a special episode just to cover how the Kisei system works.
Yeah, so and to stay in the C League, you need to not lose by 3 games or more. So you kind of have to.
Basically, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not strictly correct in every league, but essentially you need to get a winning. You should try and get a winning record.
Yeah.
In your league, otherwise you get demoted. And in the C League, if you don't have a winning record, you drop out of the C League.
Yeah. So basically that means because there's only 32 players, so 5 rounds would cover 32 players. You kind of have to not get 3 losses.
You need to get
more.
3 wins.
3 wins. Yeah. So basically, 3 wins or more to stay in the C League or even get promoted or even to do stuff. But making the C League is an achievement in itself. So
making C League is quite significant.
yeah, so that's
and good
that's
on
great
him.
news.
And who knows, how many wins he'll get in the C League.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that one day he can challenge for a title. Let's see.
It should also be pointed out with that game now. There's only one woman in the C League, and that's Fujisawa Arena.
Yeah. Okay.
Last year there were 3 women, Ji Yimin and Nakamura Sumire, along with Fujisawa Arena.
Yeah.
Were in the C League.
Yeah.
Fujisawa Arena was the only one to get 3 wins and keep her spot, while Ji Yimin and Nakamura Sumire both had to requalify, which they weren't able to do.
No, because honestly, it's not that easy, I guess.
That's right. It's not that easy.
That's it. That's great news for Malaysia. Probably not going to go over this game. Another game happened in Kisei League A.
So League A, that's the second highest.
The second
league.
tier.
But one interesting thing, if we go to the table again, the top there are 8 players in League A, and 6 of them have 2 wins.
Yeah. So only 3 games. About 3 or 4 games been played. It's very
we're nearly halfway through. We're nearly halfway through League A.
And 6 of the 8 players have 2 wins.
Yeah.
Out of 3 or 4. So very even league. Of course, Conor Green was in 8th league and challenged twice recently, so he just got demoted to League A.
Yeah.
So that's League A. Another game happened. This is probably a fairly.
This was actually an important game. In
yes.
Korea's Strongest. So this was the second last game in Korea's Strongest, but it was the last game for Lee Chang-seok.
Yep.
He needed to win this.
Yep.
To keep alive his chances of finishing top 4.
Right.
Now, top 4 in the league means that you keep your spot in the league. You don't have to re-qualify.
Yeah.
So Lee Chang-seok needed to win this game.
Yep. And
he did.
He did win.
It was in the end, a fairly comfortable win.
Right.
Yeah. And he's on 5. That puts him on 5 wins along with Kang Dong-yoon. Now, I just found out that the tiebreaker is actually head-to-head.
Right.
So Kang Dong-yoon beat Lee Chang-seok. So if it finishes with Lee Chang-seok and Kang Dong-yoon on 5, Kang Dong-yoon would finish ahead of him on tiebreak.
Yeah.
But there is a twist. Yeah. And that is that Park Jun-won, the last game is between Park Jun-won and Byun Sang-gil.
Yeah.
And if Park Jun-won loses, then he'll finish on 5 wins along with Kang Dong-yoon and Lee Chang-seok. And they actually all beat each other in head-to-head. Kang Dong-yoon beat Lee Chang-seok. Lee Chang-seok beat Park Jun-won. Park Jun-won beat Kang Dong-yoon.
Yeah.
So it's a stalemate.
Yeah. So what happens then?
I don't know. I really don't know what happens then. But essentially what you have is 2 players on 7 wins.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3 players tied for 3rd on 5 wins.
Yeah.
And no way to break the tie. And only 2 of those players can keep a spot, can keep a seed for next year's Korea Strongest tournament. So one of them has to drop out. Yeah. And I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should use.
But that's a hypothetical because that's assuming that Park Jun-won loses to Byun Sang-gil. So let's see what happens in that last game.
Yeah. So before
we jump to conclusions.
Yeah. So let's
also
see.
it should be pointed out that regardless of what happens, Shin Min-jun has won the league.
Yeah.
Because Shin Min-jun beat Byun Sang-gil. So even if Byun Sang-gil gets to 7 wins, Shin Min-jun has the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So Shin Min-jun will challenge Shin Jinseo
for the title.
Of
Korea's Strongest.
That's right.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. So Lee Chang-seok really, by winning this game, potentially is creating a very complicated situation for the rest of us.
Yeah, and I remember last week you mentioned that it was quite unbelievable how convoluted scenarios we could come up with
Yeah.
to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And look at what happened.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened.
It's actually happened.
Yeah, no,
You thought Lee Chang-suk was done for.
Yeah, nah,
You thought he was guaranteed fifth.
yeah, but didn't happen.
Who knows? Who knows?
You never know. Another game happened in GX Caltex Cup. Again, we're not going to go through it, but Song Kyung-sang.
Han Sang-hoon is notable for getting to a world major final.
Yeah.
As a one dan. We did cover that in an earlier podcast.
We did.
And he still hasn't won. He hasn't won a world or domestic tournament.
Yep. And he needed to a big reversal versus Song Kyung-sang in this one to win. So this is still in.
Song Kyung-sang, I've noticed he hangs out a lot with Shin Jinseo. I reckon he might be close friends with Shin Jinseo. I don't know.
Right.
But he is top 20. Song Kyung-sang, I think, is now top 20.
Right.
Or top 30.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty good player too.
Yeah, I think.
Obviously, he qualified for the Caltex Cup.
Yeah, so I mean, their ratings are quite similar, but in the 3-200, so that would put you in Choi Jong territory. So probably around 20-30.
A bit under Choi Jong territory.
Yeah, a bit under. So yeah. Okay, and Shin Min-jun, Lee Ji-hoon actually made the Asian Games team for Korea. Yay.
So there was one round left.
Yeah.
When we looked at the results after the first 4 rounds, and these two players, Shin Min-jun and Lee Ji-hoon, were on 3 wins.
Yeah.
So a bit unsurprising, but we can confirm it that they did get the last 2 spots on the team.
Yeah. So congrats.
So Lee Ji-hoon he was fairly inactive last year because he was on his compulsory military service.
Yep.
He was in the Navy.
Yep.
But I think he finished his service in around November or December, because his activity picked up significantly in mid-November.
Right.
He's definitely finished his service anyway.
Yep.
And yeah, he's obviously picked up where he left off, and it's also good to see Shin Min-jun doing well.
Yep.
Making the team. They're part of the team along with Kim Yong-hoon, Byun Sen-gil, Park Chun-hwan, Shin Jinseo. I think that's a pretty good team.
That's a pretty good team. And of course, Lee Ji-hoon, he almost won the Maxim Cup.
Well, he did win the Maxim Cup.
Oh, he did win the Maxim Cup, just 2020.
He almost won it twice in a row.
Yeah, because he lost last year to Kim Ji-sok.
He lost last year to Kim Ji-sok, yeah.
Yes.
But the year before that, he won.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a very strong player for sure.
His career winning percentage is like 65% or something like that.
Yeah, this is pretty strong.
He's quite good.
Yeah, strong player. So pretty decent Korean team, but team-wise, probably neck and neck with China.
I mean, team-wise, it doesn't really matter though, because the Asian Games aren't they're getting postponed. So it all depends on what their form is when the Asian Games actually happen.
If it does happen. Okay, final game ever in the Korea Strongest League. Game 35.
Oh, it happened today. The final game
happened this only got posted 2 hours ago. So that's basically when we started the podcast. Game 35, which is I believe last game. Park Jun-hwan.
No, this is game 36.
Oh,
which is the last game.
Okay, so this might be wrong. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, I know why this is 35. It didn't count the forfeit game.
Oh, it didn't count the forfeit game.
Yeah, so that's why. So Park Jun-hwan played Byung Sang-yu, and we did talk about this, didn't we?
Yeah, if Park Jun-hwan wins, then Kang Dong-yoon will finish 4th and Lee Chang-suk will finish 5th.
Yeah.
If Byun Sang-gil wins, then Park Jun-hwan, Kang Dong-yoon, and Lee Chang-suk will all finish tied for 3rd.
Right.
And I don't know who gets relegated out of those 3.
Right.
So what happened? Who won?
Byung Sang-il won the game.
So we got it. We've got our crazy scenario.
We've got our crazy scenario where it's like
So let's have a look at the final table. Oh, you haven't updated the
No,
final
wait,
table hasn't been
I haven't
updated.
updated the final table. That's
But that's okay. There's only one thing that changed. So Shin Min-jun and Byun Sen-gil are both on 7 wins.
Yep.
Shin Min-jun wins the tiebreaker
Yep.
because he beat Byun Sen-gil.
Yep.
So Shin Min-jun is first, Byun Sen-gil is second.
Yep.
Park Jun-wan, Kang Dong-yoon, and Lee Chang-suk are all tied for third on 5 wins.
Because they're on 5 wins each.
Now, only 4 players get seeded into next year's tournament.
Yeah.
So that means that one of these 3 players...
One of these 3 guys, yeah.
...is not getting a seed. They have to re-qualify, and I don't know who it is.
And yeah, and I still can't find out who it is because
I can't find out either. I guess we'll try and find out for next week's podcast.
Yeah, we have to find out next week because it's just
Yep, I don't know.
It's very strange.
Yep.
Very strange.
And then finally, the 4 players at the bottom: Yoon Chen-hee, Hong Moo-jin. Actually, Hyo Young-rak finished ahead of Hong Moo-jin because Hyo Young-rak won their head-to-head.
Yep.
And Cho Han-seung. So they actually happened to be the 4 qualifiers, the 4 players that qualified for this year's tournament, this year's league. And unfortunately, they're all going to have to re-qualify if they want to come back next year.
Yep. Yeah. So and also the Lee Chang-seok got the wild card.
Lee Chang-seok got the wild card.
Yep.
But we don't know if he's going to have to rely on that again or if he's going to get a seed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been unfortunate. It'll be a bit unfortunate if Park Jun-hwan actually gets relegated, but that will keep things a bit more interesting. I did read somewhere that supposedly this is Park Jun-hwan's worst finish in a league ever, in a Korean domestic league.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
But I'm not sure if there's that many leagues in Korea.
Well, there's certainly not recently. There hasn't been. This is perhaps the only one. And well, no, there's also the Hanguk Kiwon Championship, but that's only they've only had 1 edition of that.
Yeah.
And they've only had 3 editions of this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what other tournaments in the past have had leagues, but the GS Caltex Cup, the Yongseong, they're just knockout.
Yeah. So I don't know how much weight I should put on those kind of things where they just make up statistics just for eyeballs kind of thing. But anyway, still not sure who's actually the out of the 3 who's gonna get demoted or actually get relegated. So still remains unsure. Let's see what's happening here. Asian Games.
That looks like a glitched post actually.
So okay, this is a glitch. So maybe just get rid of these things.
We'll add that one. We'll add that one in post podcast and talk about next week.
yeah. And of course, to finish off our podcast, we are gonna finish off with the official Chinese rankings.
Oh, the official Chinese rankings have been released.
Yes. Now
the big question I have, Xiao Dai.
Yeah.
Where's Ding Hao rated?
Well, if you recall, Ding Hao was rated 2nd. Like he was in such hot form in China. He's won 3 domestic titles, hot on the heels of Kerje.
I thought he was close to overtaking Kerje.
Well, I don't know. They were like 60 or 38 points apart or something.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought he was really giving it a red hot go.
Yeah. But it all fell apart in April for Ding Hao. So he's got won 1 games out of 9 in the Asian Games qualifiers.
Yep.
And he basically exited the Langke Cup in the first round. So that's a pretty dismal month for Ding. So he went from 2nd to 7th in 7th. So that's pretty terrible for Ding. So hopefully he picks himself up again. Now, interestingly, despite Ding having was ranked as high as 2nd in China, his best placing in an international tournament was only in the round of 16.
He has not done well in
No.
international majors.
No, so to me, he's a bit like a Guli kind of thing. So Guli was winning lots of domestic titles before he, and when Guli went to international titles, he would just lose in the first round, and I think he lost to Conor Rin once, might be in the first round. So a lot of people were very disappointed with Guli until he won the LG Cup. And then won 7 other tournaments after that, international tournaments, and becomes a Chinese player with the most tournament wins. So we you never know. Maybe this is just a thing how about to pick himself up, and
he's still young.
Well. Still very young. It might be the same age as Shin Jinseo or something around there.
Yeah, they are the same age. Yes.
All right, so let's round out the top 10. So Kerje is still number 1. So Kerje came second in the Asian Games qualifier. Also had a first round exit in the Lanka Cup, but because he came second, he won quite a few games, so that helped him with the points. Gu Zihao, of course, I believe he's might be holding 3 domestic titles at the moment, 2 or 3. Did well enough to qualify for the Asian Games, but also first round exit in Lanka Cup. Might be developing a theme here. Yang Dingxin did well enough to qualify for the Asian Games. Second round exit in the Lanka Cup, second round, to Wang Xinghao.
Yep.
Fan Tingyu, well, fantastic Asian Games. I believe he went 9-1, the record.
And he also had a fantastic Lanka Cup.
Lanka Cup, he made the final, and he made the final, losing to Li Xuanhao. Mi Yuting,
not a good month for him.
Didn't do well enough for Asian Games, but also first round exit in Lanka Cup. It seems a bit of a theme, for the top 5 players.
Well, we did mention that
Yeah.
that the top 5 players, apart from Yang, all lost in the first round of the Lanka Cup.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Yang, of course, lost in the second round. So, but Li Xuanhao did amazingly well in the Asian game. If you recall, he had to go through 2 stages. I believe he won all games in the first stage, and in the second stage, he did well enough to make the team of the Asian Games Chinese team.
Got promoted to 9 Dan.
And bloody won the Lanka Cup.
Not only didn't do that, he also won the Lanka Cup.
He won the Lanka Cup, so he had an amazing April. So I believe he went from something like 13 or 14 to 6th, above Ding Hao.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, with that type of month, that is completely sensible.
It's completely crazy. So Lin Xiao still in the top 10. Xie Ke top 10. Li Weiqi top 10.
Lian Zhao is also a player who hasn't really done much in international majors. He made 1 semi-final in the Chunlan Cup, the most recent Chunlan Cup. The most recent completed Chunlan Cup. But other than that, he hasn't made a semi-final.
So Lin Xiao is the other curious case, because he's won so many titles in China domestically, but just hasn't done it internationally. But on the younger player front, we talked about Wang Xinghao. He beat Yang Dingxin, so very strong player, ranked 34th. And Tu Xiaoyu, another youngster. 31.
I will say I'm a little bit surprised that Wang Xinghao is rated below Tu Xiaoyu. I do feel like I keep hearing about Wang Xinghao. Like I heard he obviously won the first 2 rounds of Lanka Cup. He did. I heard about him in the Asian. I think he got further in the Asian Games qualifying than Tu Xiaoyu, or did better at least. It just seems strange that he's still ranked. Is that low? He sounds more like a top 20 player to me.
They are both very young. I believe 18. So anything can happen. Also, I believe it's not really that much between them. Really, I'm looking at the rankings right now. Just looking at the ratings points, 31 and 34. You're looking at 2-5-2-2 versus 2-5-1-0. So 12 points between them. So it could be a couple of games. A couple of games could turn this around. So yeah, you never know. In terms of women's player, we did talk about this. Yu Ziying 50, Zhou Hongyu 52. So almost nothing between them. And the guy between them is Peng Chuan. Peng Chuan, of course, made the semi-final of the In Cup, but he's basically semi-retired. So you can basically say that you and Joe are basically next to each other in the rankings, which is quite nuts.
Did Peng Chuan make any other finals? He's made wait, you said he made the semi-final of the In Cup?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's made 3 semi-finals.
Oh yes, yeah. He might have done more than that. I think he was quite a strong player. I believe he also had a 5 win in the Nongshim Cup once, five consecutive wins.
Oh, nice.
So he's definitely a very strong player. I like his commentating style. He often talks about like random other things other than Go, just kind of funny things.
Oh, kind of like us.
Yeah, well, maybe funnier than us, but
yeah. Well, let's hope so.
I like his commentating style, but so that's it. That wraps up another podcast. Hopefully we'll get proper. Okay, yeah, that's it.
So next week.
There
in Korea, we have the final match of the Baduk League.
Yep.
That's the big one.
Yep.
We've got a couple more YK Construction Cup games.
Yep.
And of course, to round off the week, we have the Daeju Cup final.
Yeah. Oh well, don't forget there's also the Honimbo League. The Honimbo Game 1, Honimbo
in Japan,
final.
In Japan,
Game 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of
Game
course,
1.
we'll have Honimbo Game 1.
And of course, the 5th Wu Qingyuan or Go Seiken Cup round of 24 starts next week.
Yes, but it doesn't start until Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
So we won't have any information for that.
Yeah.
For the next podcast, but we will have information on the Tianwan Game 2.
Yes. Yeah, and of course the Korean League. Yeah. So that rounds out another podcast.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yep. Thank you very much, Gaza.
Thank you. Pleasure.
And we'll talk again next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.